Hey.
All right. Shalom, everybody. I hope everybody had a blessed Sabbath. Hope everybody's doing well. Today, well, shout out to the brothers out here in the work, getting the work done. ISBHPK Houston, ISBHPK Virginia, Norfolk, ISBHPK. Don't say it. It's in New York.
You know what it is, though.
Rochester.
Yeah.
Always get it. I'm always late on that. Hope everybody's doing well out there in Israel. Today's class, we're going to kind of go into more of the mindset that Israel has to have when we're going through adversity in camps, adversity amongst the body, the ups and downs, and the fluctuations
that come with the body of
that
body
come
of
with
family.
doing the work.
Come.
And the ups and downs and the fluctuations that deal with managing and working and coping with dealing with a large body of people. It's not an easy thing to do.
It's not TV either, bro. It's not TV. It's not perfect. You do deal with all kind of life management issues.
Exactly.
You're doing life management, and you're trying to make sure that the spirits are all in a position of safety. And that's the goal.
Spirits, people.
Yeah.
And we're trying to sit back here, but no, it's a little more than that. It's about safety. It's about development. How to develop, maintain morale, maintain positivity, maintain strength,
and not fold under the pressures of life. Right?
Because there's a pressure. Listen, there's pressure around us all the time, and the more people that you live for, the more people that you're accountable for, the more pressure you're putting on yourself. Whether you're sitting back here and embarking and taking more responsibility with the brothers amongst you, whether you're taking more responsibility at home, whether you're taking responsibility with your family, you have additional children, you have additional people that are counting on you to make the right decision, that are counting on you to give the right counsel, give the right solution, give the right answer, and how to sit back here and just manage the everyday difficulties of being an Israelite and the responsibility that comes with that. Okay? So the first verse we're going to do today is go to Job chapter 2 and verse 10, because I think this verse explains our situation in San Antonio, and I wouldn't doubt it if most camps are going through these fluctuations and these highs and lows and difficulties in doing the work and defending righteousness and just trying to sit back here and keep the body positive and strong during difficult, adverse times. So we're going to go to Job chapter 2 and verse 10.
Job chapter 2 verse 10. But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh.
Read verse 9.
Job chapter 2 verse 9. Then said his wife unto him, Dost thou still remain thine integrity? Curse the Most High and die.
You can't forget what was his state when his wife told him to curse the Most High and die. What's his name? Job just lost his children, his wealth, everything that damn near meant anything to him besides his woman, he lost within a day. So he was already in a situation where everything around him was falling apart. He was standing in risk, the loss of everything. And in the midst of her sadness, in the midst of his wife's dejected nature, the first thing she said in her emotions, listen, this was her trying to save her husband's life or save him from suffering. It wasn't like she was sitting back here and just wanted him dead to collect the inheritance check. It wasn't about that. Think about this. If she would have, her telling her husband to curse the Most High and die was her way of softening his suffering. She gained no advantage out of that. So I want to make sure for the record, it was understood that she had his best intention in mind when she was telling him to curse the Most High and die.
So she knowing that the Most High is going to deal with it in that sort if he cursed the Most High.
God.
Okay.
But she was like trying to do him a service. But listen, her doing him a service, she was still losing. So it wasn't like she was just being negative for the sake of being negative.
Okay.
She was caught up. Listen, why would a person say something like that? Because they're caught up in the emotions of what they see.
And the moment.
Y'all know what we saw yesterday and how it made you feel. And if you had any type of emotions, you could tell when you saw what we saw yesterday, it wasn't the greatest feeling in the world.
Okay.
And in the midst of adversity, in the midst of difficulty, it's easy for a man or woman to get caught up emotionally, to get caught up in the moment emotionally to where you lose perspective, to where you make bad decisions. You make decisions based off of sentiment and not spiritual stability. So this is what was happening in the midst of difficult times in Job's household when he lost everything. Read verse 9 from the top.
Job chapter 2 verse 9. Then said his wife unto him, Dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse the Most High and die.
Read on.
But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh.
Because he was like, you're talking crazy, you're in your emotions, you're in your feelings. Get out of your emotions, get out of your feelings, and this is how you get out of your emotions and get out of your feelings. Read on.
What? Shall we receive good at the hand of the Most High? And shall we not receive evil? In all this, didst not Job sin with his lips?
Because the reality is this. We all have to understand. We all have to understand that for everything we do for the Most High, we get up every day, we fight, we consider one another, we work with each other. You're fighting painstaking every day. You see the Most High come through for you. You see the benefit of unity. You see the benefit of dedication and sacrifice. You see the benefit of committing a body to one goal. You go through all the ups and downs it takes to establish something in Christ. And then you get a stomach punch. And you go through situations like what we're going through in San Antonio. But we can't forget this. How can you sit back here and receive good? The Most High has been there for us this entire time. He's been there for us consistently, showing us and giving us reminders that His presence is always here with us. And how can it be that the Most High gives us good and then there's not also battles that come along with the good? And this is where we have to sit back here and find a way to rationalize and how to absorb dealing with matters that we're dealing with, dealing with the blows that come from doing this work. This ain't going to be the first time, and neither will this be the last time that as a camp we have to deal with blows and ups and downs and situations that come out of left field. And this is what Job was trying to get his wife to see. Listen, we're going to get good, we're going to get bad. We're going to get scenarios where we can't control. But whatever we do, Job said, in all this did not Job sin with his lips. What does that mean? Regardless of what circumstances hit him, he was not going to sit back here and look at the Most High in a negative light. He wasn't going to question why the Most High is doing the things He's doing. Because whatever we do, we have to maintain a pure outlook towards the Heavenly Father, or we lose everything moving forward. What you going to say, y'all?
Philippians 4:12.
Nope, I'm going there later on in the class.
Romans 7:21.
Yes, that's the one I'm going next.
Yeah. Matthew 15:18. It's not on there.
Let me go to.
She's not on there.
I know that. I know Matthew 15:18.
It's for your point, though. It's establishing your point, though.
15 and 18.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little higher than that. But that's fine. Read that. So this verse is still dealing with the fact that regardless of what we go through, evil doesn't come out of our lips. Evil doesn't come out of our mouth. Regardless of what we go through personally in our lives, or regardless of what the brothers that we care about the most go through in their lives, the ups and downs that we experience, none of us have the right to look at the Most High in negative light. Okay? What you going to say?
Matthew 15 and 16.
Okay.
Matthew chapter 15, verse 16.
Hold that. I'm sorry. I'm running. I'm behind on it. I'm sorry. Matthew chapter 15 and verse 16.
Come. And Yahushua said, are you also yet without understanding?
We don't.
Do not ye yet understand? Whatsoever entereth and at the mouth goeth into the belly.
So whatever we eat goes to the belly. Everybody knows that. Read.
And is cast out into the drop.
Cast out into the drop. It's released and removed from the body. Once you eat it, it goes through the system and it's removed from the body. True. Read.
But those things which proceed out of the mouth,
But the things that come out of our mouth, read.
come forth from the heart.
So everybody speaks. We're speaking from the heart. When a man speaks or a man says and makes a statement, it comes from his source or his spirit, his opinion, his viewpoint, his perspective. And the Most High is weighing our conversation. The Most High is weighing our words. You know the Bible, right? He's weighing our conversation. He's weighing our words.
And he's weighing. If he's weighing our conversation and he's weighing our words, that means he's weighing how we deal with circumstances.
Come.
He's judging and measuring how we deal with adversity.
Come.
Keep going.
Read on.
And they defile the man.
So my reaction to a scenario shows if I'm defiled or not. If I lose some money and all of a sudden the truth ain't the truth, that shows where I'm at. If I lose time and now the truth ain't the truth, that shows where my risk with the Most High is at. If my condition in life changes and I don't still serve the Most High the same exact way, with or without blessings, with or without finances, with or without my time, with or without my comforts, if I change based on my condition, that shows my love for the Most High is conditional. We had to have unconditional love for the Most High. I'm not trying to go all personal and deep. My rib died in the truth. You know what? The next day, I said to focus on the men. The men still matter. Believe it or not. The men still matter. The camp still matters. I didn't get the opportunity to sit here and mourn. That was for me. I'm not saying everybody else. But where I was at in my situation, men needed to see me strong and potent. They couldn't see me breaking down, folding, losing my fucking mind. So I had to sit here and still teach, still work, still take care of men, and still make men the focus. These are positions you can put in life where, you know what? You can get focused on what you're losing, or you can focus on the needs of the men around you. As a parent, you're going through shit in your life as a parent. What's the focus in the house? Is the focus the child? The answer is yes, right? I can't let what we go through as parents affect how I serve my child. Is that true or false?
Come.
So as you have men, your men are like, quote unquote, your children. You have to take care of them like they're your children the same exact way. So you can't curse the Most High. I don't want to serve the Most High. I don't want to take care of my men. I don't want to take care of my children. I don't want to take care of my family because I lost a car, I lost a house, I lost some finances, or I lost something physical. We'll go. The class goes into it. But the point is, we can't change if these situations in our life go up and down. That defiles us.
We're going there. Okay, so are you finishing that verse?
I'm done.
Okay, let that verse go and go to Romans 7 and 21.
Romans chapter 7, verse 21.
I'm ready.
It says, I find in a law that when I would do good.
He says, Paul, through his experience, realizes listen, all of us over time, when you do the work on the Most High long enough, you start realizing and recognizing patterns in what we do for the Most High every day. And in the work that we do for the Most High every day. You start realizing and start seeing just the same themes pop up on a consistent basis. And those are kind of like confirmation that when you're doing this work, these certain things happen to you while you're doing the work. And what Paul was saying is, what he found was a law, or something that was consistent, or something that was always occurring.
A theme in the dynamic, yeah.
And in the work he was doing.
Come.
What you got, Yawab?
Definition of law: a system or collection of such rules, whether spiritual.
I don't want the rules. I guess so. I guess it's a rule. I guess it's a rule. You got anything else on that?
Searching.
Don't worry about it.
It's
Listen,
a constant dynamic.
It's a constant dynamic. I don't want to. It's a rule, but it's more of a habitual thing that happens that Paul experienced in his work in the Most High. And the one thing that he noticed on a consistent basis was he found a law. Read on.
That when I would do good, sin, or something, evil is present with me.
And this is the challenge that we all face. When we all, as a camp, as a nation, as individuals, strive to do more, strive to grow, strive to fight, strive to push this word, this work further, there's always going to be negative and evil that tries to get in the way to slow the body down from the growth and the good that's happening in whatever city, state, location that brothers are trying to do this work.
God.
This is what Paul understood as he was teaching in Greece, teaching in Rome, teaching in Asia Minor. All the different cities he was teaching in, he found a law or a consistent fact that whatever good that was trying to happen in that church, that area, that city, that church, there was negative and there was evil coming right behind it. They try to sit back here and interfere in the progress. And these are the things, this is how we keep perspective in the midst of the difficult times. This is not about, I'm not going over this to sit back here and act like a robot during difficult times. But we have to find the ability to stay spiritually present in the moment. We have to find a way to stay spiritually conscious of what's going on around us, so we don't become frantic and disconnected to the Father's will. And we can also be able to stay strong and potent for everyone around us that needs us. Just like Dawiyat said, the body still needs us. The work has to get done. The word has to get out. The people have to be connected to. The people have to be strengthened. The sisters have to be strengthened at all cost. I know you probably got something on the definition tip.
Yeah. Law: a principle based on the predictable consequences of an act or condition.
It's predictable. So this scenario predictably happens when we're trying to move forward. There's always a blow or two to try to impede us from the good that's coming. It's also, well, if you can find me a verse, I don't need it right now, but just kind of keep it in your back pocket, anybody that deals with the verse, that deals with before a spirit leaves an individual, the rinsing happens. Just keep it in the back of your pocket. We'll get to it later. Let this go in Romans and jump to Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, chapter 2, verse 1. We're going to read the entire chapter.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 1 reads.
You want 10 verses a minute?
Let's go 5.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 10's fine. 10's fine. Yeah.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 1 reads.
5 might be too many people getting switched up every 5 minutes, and it's probably not worth it. Yeah. Yes. I don't know what it is. That
myrrh, bro.
The myrrh is not it's not sweet myrrh. If anybody can find some more bottle of myrrh, I'd be happy. The myrrh we got is garbage. Anyway, it's always, that's why I try to go heavy with the frankincense, man, because the myrrh.
I was watching a video on that the other day. They got different grades of myrrh. You must have got that.
I got that F minus. I got that FF.
You got that.
I got that Frankfurter.
But on the bark in it.
It isn't. Listen, I'm gonna put it all in the back.
No,
I don't want it. It ain't good, huh? But listen, we gotta get some new myrrh, because that's not good. I'm done with this myrrh. I try to keep giving it opportunities. And every time I'm doing this, and everybody in the room is like, for being older,
Alright,
but this
come
is
on, bro.
funky.
What are you burning over here?
Everybody's like respectfully like hating on it. Nobody said anything to me though. I gotta say it. Anyway,
Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 1 reads from
Yes.
the top. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord,
When you decide to commit, dedicate your life to Christ and the Most High and your people.
Yep.
Read.
prepare thy soul for temptation.
Well, the reality is
This is
the way your life rolls, the circumstances and experiences that we go through once
Yeah.
you decide to serve the Most High is different than when you're sitting back here functioning in the world only having to be responsible for yourself. All I have to do is live for me and do things for me. It's an entirely different dynamic than when I have to sit back here, consider others, be strong for others, push and endure for the body's sake, take losses for the brothers. This encompasses the whole process. You had to embrace the highs and deal with the lows. This is the temptation that comes from serving the Heavenly Father. Read on.
Verse 2. Set thy heart aright.
This is all about getting your mind in the right posture to deal with serving the Most High in a strong position. Read on.
And constantly endure.
And I think that the constantly enduring part for a lot of our people takes getting accustomed to. And this is why it's so important for brothers to continuously be, and sisters, to continuously be in the book. Because most of us have a limit, or we put a self-imposed limit as to how much I can tolerate, how much I can suffer, how much I can endure before I reach my boiling point. How much I can get pushed, or to be specific, when I say push, how much can I get extended without feeling the effects of being extended?
Yeah.
How much can I lose before it starts to bother me? How much do I have to come last before I start to get affected?
And people feel from a family perspective, this is a part of the family. When you're dealing with a family perspective, you're dealing with the father has to bring forth resources. The mother has to extend herself to her love to all the children and still serve her husband.
Yep.
And keep the house at peace.
And when you're in the work with the body, your family is extended.
Exactly.
You not only have to consider the family in your home, you have to consider your sisters. All the extra sisters and their children and their families and their brothers and their families. Your family gets that much more extended, which means you have to lose more of you. And can we deal with the losses? Can we deal with the challenges it takes to continue to love your brother and your sister? And to endure the hardships that come from being a brother, the hardships that come from being a sister. Because listen, the reality is, if in families, if you're dealing with family, the more extended you have family, the more you gotta realize that dealing with loss is a part of family.
Yeah.
Dealing with suffering is a part of dealing with family. Dealing with unexpected events is part of dealing with family. And what are we taught in the world to do when family has crisis? You come together.
Exactly.
You come together that much tighter during times of difficulty. And those aren't the times to fold mentally. You just said, I'm not going to pull the verse because it's going to take away from the point. So the point is this: setting your mind and your heart aright to open your heart up to love more. Because the more you open your heart to love, the more you opening your heart to what? Suffer. To be pained. When those that you've opened your heart to are going through affliction.
Because you're going to feel what they feel. That's what love is. Love is the sentiment of my brother. My brother lost a license. Cool. I feel the effect. You know why? Because we don't have as many rights now. If my brother sit here went through a divorce, shit, you gotta deal with a brother that went through a divorce. Brother's going through ups and downs. His inconsistency. It don't be like, okay, got a divorce and okay, back to work, everything's normal. Yep. No, you're gonna deal with.
Forget her. I'm moving on.
Oh, you know what? She missed out. That's it. Let's go hang out. Listen, bro, it's a long period of time to accept the loss of the marriage. Then from that point, then you have to sit here and put the pieces back up. You got to deal with the financial disorder. You got to sit here and get the brother back.
The family splitting up.
The family
the
splitting
children,
up.
The children and the
all
living
those
arrangements.
counsels. All those counsels. Then I want to get back together. And then never mind counsels. Those counsels. I love you. I'm sorry. Never mind. Those things happen too. Those are real parts of a divorce.
But this is parts of family.
Con.
And this is part of the challenge that comes from having extended family.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters. Learning how to deal with this. Well, let's keep going.
Come. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure.
Because to sit back here and embrace family, you have to be prepared to endure with the ups and downs of what happens when you have a bigger family. An entire body of people that we have to consider.
Yeah, because I want to go take off topic. But then you have some people in the family that they have their own course they're on. They're on their own course.
Mm-hmm.
I love the truth. I love this. But I got things going on in my life. So they got to deal with their personal. I know we had that one brother out. He had an issue with addiction.
Mm-hmm.
We counseled and counseled and counseled and counseled and counseled about addiction. We said go to class, not just class, go to other classes to help deal and solve addiction.
Yep.
But the man, he's fighting addiction and he's in the camp.
And he's
married. He's married. He has a beautiful child, beautiful kids.
And brother stuff start coming up stolen.
And then guess what? Brother got robbed many times. Many times. Many. Oh, from time. Brother got robbed for 2 years straight. Because you can't find brothers. You don't know where brothers at on they situation.
Yep.
But you know what? That's the part I love. Okay, I'm gonna lose my guitar. I'm gonna lose my DVDs. I'm gonna lose my Jordan cards. I'm gonna lose some money. How they get in the house?
We didn't. It took
How is he getting in the house?
A year to find out how he got.
How is he doing this? And then when he sobered up, hey, I stole all your stuff. It's at that pawn shop.
It's too late. It's gone, man.
Came back. He came back like Skeletor. I came back all skinny and everything like that. Brother's like, listen, I went to the back door. All I gotta do is to do this. I said, damn, why, Doc? Brother brought some of the stuff back. Some stuff was beyond repair. You couldn't get it back. And you still gotta love the brother. You can't be like, oh, I hate you, He was dealing with his sickness.
And what are we dealing with? Once again, we're going and dealing with.
These are different dynamics.
What ends up happening when you extend your family out, and how your love is tested, your love is challenged, your heart is challenged in the process of expanding brotherhood, expanding sisterhood, and this is part of setting your mind aright. Yeah, we know setting your mind aright is about the law and the scriptures and the study and the Esau and all that stuff, but also part of setting your mind right is to prepare yourself for the ups and downs that come from investing into all the people around you.
And the different lifestyles that come from.
And the added responsibility that comes from taking on all of these relationships. Let's keep going.
Come, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble.
He's telling you when you extend your family out, there's going to be trouble. The more we build camps in schools, there's going to be more things that we're going to have to sit back and endure as family. And it said, make not haste in the time of trouble. Because what happens to most of our people when we endure hard times? We're supposed to come together, but a lot of us, we get so caught up in the trouble that we want to run and escape. We want to isolate. We want to drink. We want to sit back here and wallow in self-pity.
Or be extreme.
But these are the extremes. These are some of the extremes.
Okay.
The self-pity, the drinking, the alcoholism, running and chasing women. These are the things that men do to relieve stress. To relieve stress from the trouble that comes from the investment into the family. But the part of what setting the heart right is all about is about finding a way to detach all of these emotions that you want to do and you want to vent off and stay in that trouble, stay in that battle for the rest of your body, for the rest of the body, right? When everybody felt a certain type of way on Sunday. But you know we all have to remember and be conscious of? Everybody needs the other one to be strong. We depend on one another to get through the day.
And I guess this too. And if brothers get weak and break down, this brother comes back to nothing. That's the sad part. If I make selfish decisions what does this man have to come back to?
God.
That's my focus for these situations. Let me be on point, so when the man comes back and everything gets correct and gets ordered, he has something to come home to. I can't afford to be a selfish guy and be about me and be about my world, and I'm losing this, I'm losing that, and what about me? And now I'm failing men, I'm giving bad examples, and I'm giving other men the permission to go do the same thing. So when I come back, he's coming back to a weaker scenario.
More discord.
Come on now.
And this is part of what being strong in Christ is about. Who are we being strong for? And can we get past ourselves and be strong for the body? Let's continue.
Come. Cleave unto him and depart not away.
Do what?
Cleave unto him and depart not away.
That's very important. Like I said, I remember when I was going through my scenario, bro. I can't bring the stories up, but I was feeling crazy. I'm like, I'm feeling crazy. I'm drinking too. I'm like, I got a bottle of something brown. I don't know what it was. I'm drinking. I don't remember. I don't know.
You didn't know what the brown.
I don't know what it was.
Liquor
It was just brown.
Was it liqueur? Was it a Cavassier?
I don't know what it was. My only answer was
it cognac? I mean,
It was
probably
EJ, cheap.
I'm like, my
damn, it
answer,
was brown. I mean, that's bad.
My flesh
was it cheap or expensive?
It was good.
Because if it was cheap, you're really in trouble with some brown cheap stuff.
It
must have been some brandy or Ripple.
It was middle. It was
You don't want no Ripple out.
It wasn't Ripple.
It must have been Crown Royal.
No, it wasn't Crown Royal. I don't know what it was. It's like some white people stuff. I don't know what it was. I just wherever I saw, I picked it up.
Oh, that was just whiskey.
But the whole point was my immediate reaction to that. A man's natural reaction is to drink, to go and to deal with women,
to wallow in
sorrow. And you know what? Most High immediately when I did that, Most High got me sick the next day. I got sick as a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the hospital. And they said, you know, your cells are all messed up. I said, why? Well, it said your immune system's down. And they said, what? It said, you know, alcohol ruins your immune system. I said, oh, you know what? That's why I decided, no, I'm not gonna drink. When I go through hard times, I'm not going to make drinking my solution.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I obviously saw that wasn't benefiting the men, wasn't benefiting the body. So I can't. That was only one day, but I had to bounce back quick because I.
And also, what does it say when it says cleave unto you or cleave unto him? How many times when we're feeling down do we study?
It doesn't happen.
How many times when you're feeling sadness do you study? How many times when you feel a certain way do you read in the scriptures to find prophets and teachers that were feeling the same thing you were feeling to find out how they coped with it?
God.
Because if you don't do that, but that is the very definition of cleaving unto the Heavenly Father.
God.
But if you don't do that, what are you going to do? But drink and pursue carnal indulgences and reliefs. And a lot of times when we're under a lot more stress than normal, and times like this elevates the pressure. Times like this elevate stress. These are the times you cleave to the Most High by studying and talking about the scenarios.
And being with brothers, being tight with brothers, talking to brothers. I mean, some of the best conversations I ever had was when I went to Sham Shuan. I went to Sham Shuan, and I went through a situation, and lost something. Besides that situation, I lost somebody really close to me, and all he could do was just talk about. Well, he related to what I was going through. That was better than all the alcohol. That was better than alcohol. That was better than the sleep. A brother was there for me when I needed him, when I was going through my suffering.
God.
I couldn't suffer in front of my brothers.
God.
As far as younger brothers. So the point is, relationships. You're supposed to be in the truth building relationships. So when hard times come, you can be a pillar for your brother, or your brother can be a pillar for you.
And you see, listen, which also means what? I can't be in my head because somebody might need me to lean on. Huh? I have to be strong for me, but I also got to be strong for the fact that people need to see somebody they can lean on and vent to and feed off of strength-wise. This is why it's so important that we keep it together and study. Because everybody's leaning on somebody.
You don't know who's going to lean on you.
But that's the thing.
You don't know who's going to lean on you.
God.
And that's the point. This is why you have to fight the Bible calls it having a sober mind.
Yep.
You got to be sober minded.
God.
Literally from drinking and also from
no doubt.
from just in general. I can't be overwhelmed with sadness.
Yep.
I can't be overwhelmed with shock. I can't be overwhelmed with fear.
Mm-hmm.
Those walls of fear, shock, and sadness, the goal of those spirits are to shake you out of your faith. That's the goal. If the Most High, if I'm doing all this work, the Most High is with me, why did this happen? That's the goal of all these spirits.
See, and this is the problem. Maybe part of me is like, maybe I went to this verse too early, because I have a lot of verses that deal with all these things you're saying.
Okay,
but I don't think I'm gonna ever get to it because I got 18 damn verses to go. Hold this. Go to Proverbs 17 and 17 real quick. I'm not taking away what you're saying. It's just I wasn't sure how the timing was going to be on this class and how we was going to work this. Proverbs 17 and 17. It still deals along the lines with the cleaving unto the Most High, cleaving unto the Brotherhood, cleaving unto these scriptures during these difficult times.
But you know what the point is? I like what you're bringing out. People never get to see experience-wise when do you have to cleave.
Yes.
We complain our way out the truth most of the times.
Yep.
Most of us complain because, just the marital scenarios, financial scenarios, or just I don't have no time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? For me, it was always time. I always needed my time. You know what I'm saying? I need time for me. You know what I'm saying? Damn, everybody's blowing my phone up today. Damn, everybody wants to call. Damn, I'm trying to sleep. It's 6 in the morning. Can I get some sleep? It's 6 in the morning, brother. No complaints, but damn, you need a little time to get your shit together because people need you, but you need you too. I need me too.
Listen, that's why Christ was running around at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, at 2 a.m. in the morning.
It's the truth, right? Christ was running around getting his time, man, when everybody in America was asleep.
And it's not,
or in Israel in Jerusalem was asleep, in Galilee.
And you know what? And we signed up to be teachers, so we can't complain about it.
Exactly.
But the issue is, you have
Glad
to.
you cleaned that up.
Yeah, I'm not complaining one bit. But you have to be prepared that sometimes you're not going to be 100% in your battle. You're not going to be 100%.
Got it.
So you need to have someone can you connect to. Who can you call when you still have your men that need you? Your rib still needs you. She can't see you break down. Is that clear?
Yep. Let's go there. This definition. Proverbs 17:17.
Con. A friend loveth at all times.
Con.
And a brother is born for adversity.
He said, listen, a brother is made for adversity. These are the times, during adverse times, is when we as brothers have to step up and be brothers.
It's your purpose.
We can't sit back here and have the mindset of breaking up or breaking down mentally during scenarios like this.
Come.
Definition of adversity. An event or series of events which oppose success or desire. Misfortune.
Misfortune. That's a major. Listen, misfortune's always in the cards, bro.
Yep.
It's always in the cards.
And it also says misfortune, calamity, affliction, distress, a state of unhappiness.
Because when Tobit got blinded by the
poop,
by the poop that came out from that wall, from those sparrows, it took him 8 years to get well. We know that. But how did his family adapt to him being blind for 8 years?
And how did brothers help keep his spirits up?
God.
And his mindset up? And his spirit and the willingness to fight? Because when you see a brother down, you got to sit back here and show strength. Not just to the brother who's going through the affliction, but to everybody else who's looking at you, trying to see how your reaction is to what you just saw.
Yeah.
That's what I saw out there yesterday. Everybody was looking to see how everybody reacted to what they just saw, to determine how they're supposed to react.
That's natural.
It's natural.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not knocking it as a negative thing, but I'm trying to show you this is where brotherhood has to arise. But brotherhood is based off a selfless mindset. Scenarios like that isn't up. You can't be into your weakness. You can't be into your feelings, regardless of how unhappy or distressful the situation is. That can't be something you hold on to if you're aiming to keep the body around you strong. And that shouldn't just be a mindset that comes from the head down. That should be a mindset that you learn even in adversity in your own homes. Somebody has to keep it together. Somebody has to establish the spirit of hope
exactly
around family. Because if hope isn't established, then everything is doomed.
Yeah, despair comes in, and then with despair comes extreme indulgence.
Con.
And then comes sin. Because, well, shit, if this happens, then you know what? Why not sin? Most High ain't gonna look out for me anyway.
Well, this is the problem. You know what the key is to establish the mindset to not look at things in a worse light. What does verse 20 say in Proverbs? Proverbs 17 and verse 20.
Proverbs 17 and 20. He that hath a froward heart.
A froward heart is a disobedient mind. A person that has a froward or disobedient mind. Read on.
Also difficult to deal with. That's what it means too.
Read on.
He that hath a froward heart findeth no good.
Findeth no good. Because that's what ends up happening if you don't keep the spirit of being there for your brother during adversity. The way you're there for adversity is to constantly remind brothers around you where the good is. Like we read in Romans 7 and 21. It says where good is, evil is present. But you know where the brotherhood really kicks in? Is when you're able to have to reverse that verse. Where the evil is, there's good present too.
Exactly.
And can we as brothers remind brothers that there's good despite evil there? That's what our responsibilities as brothers and sisters are. Can I sit back here and look for the good when there's bad? Can I look for the strength and the positive when there's obvious possibility for remorse and sadness and distress? Because what we're fighting is negative thoughts. The negative, disobedient thinking person sees no good in whatever's around them. And this is the spirit that you have to break, which is why you have to fight to be that brother. Hold that verse, and go to Titus 1 and 15.
Well, I gotta put one definition for the word evil.
Yep.
Evil. For a definition of evil, the word evil also means unfortunate, unhappy, producing sorrow, distress or injury, calamity. That's also what evil means.
Run it again.
The word evil means misfortunate. It means unfortunate, unhappy, producing sorrow, distress, injury.
So when injurious situations are happening, negative things are happening, it's our job as brothers to find the positive and the good in moments of despair. And that's how a brother or a sister is born for adversity. This is why we always tell young sisters and young brothers not to spend too much time with each other when you're young. Because your natural inclination when you're new in the knowledge is when you hear bad news, when you hear distress, you hear bad reports, what does the person want to do? Empathize with the bad reports. Feed that person's flesh. Confirm their skeptical thinking. Feed their skeptical thinking. If you're going to be a brother, if you're going to be a real sister, during adverse times, you have to find the gumption and the strength to pull out the good, to pull out the lesson, to pull out the ability of what's the spiritual lesson. What can we hold on to power us through this difficult time? Because this difficult time is only temporary.
Yep.
I can't focus completely on emotions and sentiment and get the body through these difficult times. Yes, sir.
After your Titus verse, I got one for you.
Okay. You done with that? Let's go to Titus 1 and 15.
Titus chapter 1, verse 15.
Because this is what we're battling when we're trying to develop spirits. And we're trying to keep strong everybody during adversity. Because once again, Proverbs 17 and 20 says, he that hath a froward heart or a disobedient negative mind findeth no good. During the time of adversity, what has to be done immediately is the body has to be shown the good.
God.
The body has to be shown the strength. The body has to be shown what's the spiritual lesson in all this misery.
And how to digest this.
Mm-hmm.
The body has to see how do you digest these conditions? And what is the best decision for us to do to be a benefit to the person that needs us in this moment?
Con. And but see, how can I benefit them? How can I strengthen them? How can we strengthen
Yeah.
and come together? Listen, we'll deal with worst case scenarios when the goddamn worst case scenarios, if the damn worst case scenarios get here. But I'm not going to function in that place.
God.
That gets nobody nowhere. We push strength until strength can't be pushed no more.
God.
That's how you maintain and nurture brotherhood, sisterhood, family.
And spiritual edge too.
And keep your spiritual strength and potency about you. Read that again. Titus 1:15.
Titus chapter 1, verse 15. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure.
And this is why brotherhood is needed. This is why each and every one of y'all is needed to be strong. Because you can have a room of 25, 30 people in here. All it takes is a little leaven to leaven the whole lump. Right or wrong? It takes a little bit of negative thinking, a little bit of worst case scenario processing, and then that sickness spreads to the whole body. And this is where brotherhood has to continue to reign strong and dominant. The majority of us have to be positive, spiritual thinking individuals to squash and root out the doubtful, condescending mindsets that can weaken the body. Before we get to sin and wickedness, we have to maintain outlook and mindset.
God.
Outlook and mindset has to be maintained before anything. The desire to fight, the desire to push on. That's what we're trying to accomplish. But in order to do that, we have to continue to teach men and train men how to see the good during despairful times. How to see the good during the difficult situations. That's what all of our responsibilities. It's not just one or two guys' job to do that. Because this is what it takes to truly lead. Can you stay strong? Can you stay optimistic? Can you stay pure of mind during the darkest times?
Gotta pull one scripture real quick, man. You pull it real quick. That's
1 Corinthians 11 and 17 real quick. We're going to still get back to Ecclesiastes in a second. But I want to go here. 1 Corinthians 11 and 17.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 17.
Read that.
Now in this that I declare unto you, I praise you not, that ye come together not for the better, but for the worse.
We have to learn how to practice coming together during the worst times. Israel loves to barbecue.
Yep.
Israel loves to party. Cut the music on.
Yep.
Bring the arroz con pollo.
Yeah.
Who's bringing the meat? Who's bringing the chips? Who's bringing the fresh guacamole?
Ain't nobody crying. Music's in the
Dun,
background.
dun,
Ain't
dun, dun,
nobody
dun.
crying.
Exactly.
Everybody had a good time, buzz.
Yeah, everybody's clapping. You know, everybody's doing that damn I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say that. You know, everybody does that group dance thing. I
Cupid
forgot.
shuffle.
The Cupid
Yeah,
shuffle.
the Cupid
Oh,
shuffle.
that's the worst dance ever. But the people love it.
People
The
love it.
people love it.
And we love it
To
too.
the left, to the left,
Yeah.
to the left.
Everybody loves the good times and the music,
Yeah.
God.
But the Most High is like, I want y'all to come together and to learn how to come together during adverse times. Because a lot of times during adversity, brothers don't come around and show up. But you know, when it says we come together during the difficult times or the adverse times, can I stay upbeat?
Come.
Who can keep upbeat and strong during these difficult times, during the worst times? That's what Israel needs. Who's going to stay strong, positive, and clear-minded when you don't feel like it? When everything in you wants to sit back here and ball up, get into a shell, and break down. Because those are the real emotions you feel when you see your brother going through adversity. None of us here are robots. We all know what we saw. We all know what we see. We all know what we heard. We know how we feel. But that's not an excuse to cave in.
We got the Most High's control also, bro.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
But this is where the cleaving to the Most High kicks in. We read in Ecclesiastes 2.
What grounds me when I start feeling like I'm gonna float and just be sucked into these black holes of negative thinking and sadness is I gotta remember the Most High is in control. We have certain classes that bring these points.
Oh, this class is gonna go into it too.
On both sides. Yeah.
We're gonna get everything here. Everything. Yes, sir. What's
on your point, 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and 13. Are you about to go there?
No.
So not right now?
I wasn't going to go there. I'm saying you can go there.
Okay, cool. So based on what Darian just said, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man.
Mm-hmm.
But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able.
What that lets you know is that whatever we're going through, we can handle it. If we study, we cleave to the Most High, we communicate with each other, and we push strength out. Listen, it's nothing wrong with feeling down. It's nothing wrong with venting sadness. But with all that venting of sadness, with all that venting of ups and downs that brothers are going through, you have to sit back and finish up with strength. We still have to sit back here and find the lesson, or at least attempt to look for the lesson the Most High is trying to teach us through all these circumstances.
Yeah, got to put one scripture.
Yes.
Luke 8 and 49 through 52.
Hold it for now.
Let's hold it right now. Let's fix this point right here.
Luke chapter 8, verse 49. While he yet spake, there come up one from the ruler of the synagogue's house, saying to him, Thy daughter is dead. Trouble not the master.
Read that point again.
Thy daughter is dead. Trouble not the master.
Read on. So this guy came out just very abrasive. This guy was very abrasive. That daughter's dead. Don't trouble the master. Don't bother this guy.
We're reading to the end of it?
Yeah.
Verse 56?
Yeah, all the way to verse 52. I was going to do 52.
I'm just saying, let me know what you're reading to so I can type the whole thing out. Okay, what you keep going on?
Verse 50. But when Yahushua heard it, he answered him, saying, Fear not, believe only, and she shall be made whole.
So was Christ like, yeah, she's dead, don't trouble the master? Or was Christ like, listen, was he trying to change the perspective of the situation? Was Christ starting to sit here and put a different light on the same scenario?
What he was doing was giving hope.
Let's find out. Read on.
And when he came into the house, he suffered no man to go in.
What did he do?
And when he came into the house, he suffered no man to go in.
He wasn't trying to make the scenario more extreme than it already was. Because there's already people saying, hey, she's already dead, bro. Don't bother us. It's already bad. Let's just flip out. Read on.
Save Peter and James and John and the father and the mother of the maiden.
Read on.
And all wept.
And all did what?
And all wept.
So it must not have been a good situation if they were crying, right? Read on.
And bewailed her.
And did what?
And bewailed her.
This wasn't a good looking situation. Read on.
But he said, Weep not.
But what did Christ say?
Weep not.
Read on.
She is not dead.
But what?
But sleepeth.
So, you see how he reframed it? We got to look at how Christ framed the situation. Same scenario. One person said, this person's dead, don't trouble the master. Christ said, listen, this person's not dead, this person's asleep. You see how Christ is bringing peace and hope and light into the scenario? Same situation. He's giving us the example of how to operate in dark times. Are we taking Christ's perspective, or are we operating off of how the flesh naturally reacts to situations?
Too many times we choose the flesh. But the reality is, the reason we're having class today is to start teaching brothers and sisters how to deal with adversity, how to face it head on, how how to establish the proper perspective when everything inside of you wants to feel worst case scenario, wants to wallow in sadness and self-pity. Let that verse go. You finish that? Go to Zechariah chapter 9. Type it up. Zechariah chapter 9, verse 11 and 12. Zechariah chapter 9, verse 11 and verse 12.
Zechariah chapter.
Now let me get Nagaha.
Zechariah chapter 9, verse 11. As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water.
So listen, he's saying he has set forth our prisoners out of a pit where there is no water. A lot of times our people are put in circumstances that look like it's nothing but despair in front of it. If I'm in a pit and there's no water, and this pit's deep, you're going to die eventually. If I'm in a pit where there's no water, eventually I'm dead.
It's almost,
and there's no hope.
If
I'm in a pit, I can't get out of this pit. There's no rope.
It's beyond my ability.
I don't have no MacGyver shit on me. Trying to get out of this scenario. I'm done. That's the mindset that the Most High has our people in at times. We're in a pit where there's no water. That means a lot of times Israel, our people, are put in scenarios that would normally bring forth the spirit of despair.
And panic.
The spirit of panic. The spirit of there's no hope. The Most High is destroying this person, or this person's situation is unfixable or untenable. Okay. Read on.
Verse 12. Turn you to the stronghold.
When you're in situations, when your brothers or your sisters are in untenable, difficult situations where you might not be able to see the light of day in their circumstances, he said we're supposed to turn to the stronghold. What's the stronghold? It's the scriptures of the Most High. It's no different than Ecclesiastes 2 that says cleave unto him. Cleave unto him during these times of despair. Read on.
Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope.
We are prisoners of hope for the Most High. The Most High purposely puts us in situations where we have to hope on him coming to save us. Read from Genesis on. The Most High purposely puts us in scenarios where we can ingenuity, we can create this, solve this, plan this, think this out.
Yeah.
All we damn want.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But then when the day is said and done, you better sit back and get on your knees and pray.
God.
And petition to him.
God.
And these are the reasons our people go through the things that they go through. These are one of the reasons Most High is putting us to what we're going to go through. We can't go to the next level anyway unless our faith increases. Unless our purity of outlook towards the Most High, despite blows and despair and difficult situations happening in our life. If we don't learn how to sit back here and cleave to him during scenarios like this, we're not prepared for the blessings that are waiting for us down the line. Because for every difficult situation we have to face, there is a blessing coming right behind it. And this is how this is just as much of a law as where there's good, evil's present.
Yeah.
The other law is when there's evil, especially when you're doing good and you're fighting your ass to do good, the blessing is right behind it.
Yeah.
That's experience 2 talking. The blessing comes right after the difficult time comes. Now does somebody have that verse about that spirit renting?
Mark 1.
We're going to hold this that we're at, but I want to go to Mark.
Yep.
Mark what?
I believe it's 1 and 26. It should be.
I want the story though, because it's.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's
You started 23.
I'm thinking about 22, but There was another one. The one I read,
Yeah.
it wasn't Mark 1. But I'm not saying this is the wrong verse. But maybe not the story that tells the best story.
It's in Matthew.
That's not that one. That's not the 7 other. I don't want that one.
Okay.
It's this story written. Sometimes
With the pigs?
the Gospels, yes, the Gospels, they some of them explain it with a little more detail than others.
Mark 9 and 26.
I see.
9 and 26.
Let's see.
Swine.
Talking about sending to the swine.
Well, it's not necessarily about. It's not about as much the swine as the spirit rent the individual before the spirit leaves.
So we are legion.
Well, it's not about the legion. It's about the point of what I'm trying to explain is that before the blessing comes and the peace comes, the spirit rents the hardest.
Yeah.
And it's a chapter that deals with that. I just don't have it on top of my head. It was before the demon leaves the person, he rents at him and tears at that spirit the hardest right before it leaves.
Mark 9 and 26.
And the spirit cried and rent him sore and came out of him, and he was as one dead.
Okay, then we go up a little higher. Then that's the one. Then we go Mark 9
Okay.
and verse.
Mark 9 and what?
Hold on, I'm trying to go up a little higher.
19. Oh, faith this generation.
No, it's 20, I think.
20 then.
Yeah, 9:20 through 27 is fine. Read that.
Mark chapter 9, verse 20. It says, "And they brought him unto him, and when he saw him, straightway the spirit tear him, and he fell on the ground."
No, we got to go to 17. Salaki. This is better because I'm sorry.
Mark chapter 9, verse 17. "And one of the multitude answered and said, Master, I have brought unto thee my son, which hath a dumb spirit. And wheresoever he taketh him, he teareth him, and he foameth, and gnasheth with his teeth, and pineth away. And I spake to thy disciples that they should cast him out, and they could not. And he answered him, and saith, O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him unto me.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought him unto him. And when he saw him, straightway the spirit tear him."
That spirit tore at the individual. Okay? That demon that was in that child was tearing him from the inside out. Read on.
"And he fell on the ground, and wallowed, foaming. And he asked his father, How long is it ago since this came unto him? And he said, Of a child."
So whatever issues this child had, he had from birth. Read on.
Verse 22. "And oft times it cast him into the fire."
Listen, he would be walking around some fire and he would throw himself in the fire.
That's
This
spirit.
damn demon was destroying him.
God.
Read on.
"And into the waters, to destroy him. But if thou canst do anything, have compassion on us, and help us. Yahushua said unto him, If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. And straightway the father of the child cried out, and said with tears, Lord, I believe. Help thou mine unbelief. When Yahushua saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, Thou dumb and deaf spirit, I charge thee, come out of him, and enter no more into him. And the spirit cried and rent him sore."
So what it's showing is this. This is a couple things. The first thing that pops in my mind is the Most High can sit back here and change any person's circumstance. And these are the things that we have to consider when we're facing adversity with family and brothers and things that brothers are going through. The Most High can pull. It's another verse that says he can make a rich man or a poor man rich in an instant. Yeah, it's Ecclesiastes and Apocrypha, but it's still saying the same thing. Whatever scenarios that our people are facing, with prayer and faith, the Most High can sit back and pull off any spirit off of anybody. That's one. Part two is where it says that before when Christ told this spirit to leave, the spirit just didn't leave. The spirit tore at that child and rent at him. And I say that because I've seen this from example in life. When the Most High is about to send a blessing, when the Most High is about to bring good in your life, the negative spirits have to rent sore before the blessing comes in. The bad has to come significantly harder, then the blessing kicks in. But we expect the good just to happen out of nowhere and everything's going to be okay. The spirit rents harder right before the spirit leaves. Yes, sir.
Sword definition.
Mm-hmm.
With painful violence, intensely, severely, and grievously.
And which means that whatever you're going through gets worse before it gets better. And when you're going through something and it's at its height and at its peak and you don't think you can take it anymore, that's the indicator that lets you know the blessing is on the way. That's how you have to look at adverse things. The blessing comes right when things are wrenching and rolling at the sorest and most difficult and adverse level.
Pain from pressure.
Yeah, keep going with that.
Susceptible of pain from pressure.
Exactly. So that pressure, listen, the pressure builds up before that spirit leaves. Your circumstance is going to be at its worst before the Most High makes it better. That is how we have to learn to stay calm and positive during difficult circumstances. The worst comes first, then the good comes. Yes, Amiyati.
Well, and verse 25, when he said, when he saw the people come running together, they came together quickly, he rebuked that spirit.
Because it was the lesson. He wanted these people to see. He wanted his people to see the power of Christ. That everybody can say, man, this kid was tripping and running in the fire since birth.
No, wait.
How in the hell
that's hopeless.
Did this happen?
That's a hopeless
That's
scenario.
a miracle.
Come.
And that once he took this spirit off of him, before the spirit left, it cried and rent him sore. Then what happened in verse 26?
It said, it ripped him sore and came out of him.
After it rent him sore. After. When the difficult times have to come first before the blessing ends up coming through to make things better in your life.
And in the world, they say it has to get worse before it gets better.
It's a precept.
That's the worldly saying.
What you got? What verse is it?
Ecclesiastes 7 and 8.
I got 7. Now I'm going there.
Oh.
I'm going that whole chapter, or for the most part, that chapter. So yeah, I'm with you. That's coming up real soon. Continuing Mark.
Mark chapter 9, verse 26. And the spirit cried and rent him sore and came out of him. And he was as one dead, insomuch that many said, he is dead.
Because it takes a lot out of you. Before the blessing comes, you're going to get worn out. Can we accept that? The blessing comes after we get pushed and ran through the ringer. And that negative leaves us. Then the blessing comes. Our faith is going to be tested. Our positive outlook is going to be tested. Our good disposition is going to be tested before the Most High continues to bring the blessings. This is the understanding that we have to have if we're going to grow stronger in His utterance and His wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
And it's not a one-time situation.
This is in every different phase and cycle that you go through in your life. The worst has to happen, then the blessing kicks in. But the worst happens as you're changing and doing right. I'm not talking about the worst happening because you're getting punished.
No, that's a different story.
Listen, this is a different story. This is when you're doing everything right and you're still catching hell. Because there are two scenarios that are different.
Yep.
When you're doing things the right way, listen, we're going to go into later, there's suffering for doing the right thing and there's suffering for doing the wrong thing. You're still going to suffer. People think that if we're good little boys and girls, we don't catch no hell.
Not true.
That's wrong. You just catch hell and get blessed behind it. Whereas them badass baby kids and shit, they get stung and get nothing out the deal.
I'm locked up. It's not getting no better. It's not getting no better.
I know. That's how niggas make heaven a ghetto and shit, or the
Yeah.
ghetto of heaven. So where are we at in Mark? Are we done with Mark with the point?
We're at verse 27. Right?
Yeah, read verse 27.
Mark chapter 9, verse 27. But Yahushua took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose.
So I don't want to go any further because verse 28 tells about the disciples wondering how come they couldn't raise him up, and Christ says through prayer and fasting and all that good stuff. So we're gonna let that verse go and go to Lamentations chapter 3. Did we finish Zechariah 9? Did we finish Zechariah 9 and 12? I don't think we did.
Yeah.
We did?
You sure?
Let's go back to Zechariah 9 and 12 just to double check.
It was the B portion of it.
Yeah, I don't think we read just read it from the top.
Come on.
That's
Lord.
Dalian's
Say
answer,
it,
man.
say it.
Listen, Dalian got the
Say it,
entire camp saying B portions, Zach.
Say it,
That's this guy, Act. I'm not gonna say that, Act.
Come on, now.
Anyway, Act. Just
No,
whatever.
being not being fun.
Let's read that.
Cool.
Zechariah chapter 9, verse 12. Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope.
The Most High puts us through scenarios where we're in that pit
Come.
with no water, with no way out. So we can learn to be reminded to turn to the strongholds because we are prisoners of hope. The Most High consistently puts us in our personal pits.
Because
I want to say it again. The Most High puts us through our personal pits where we don't have any water and ways out. And the Most High pulls us out of these pits. Because the dynamic the Most High has with His children is He's going to teach us how to learn how to have hope in Him, how to have faith in Him, how to have trust in Him. Whether you're sitting back here doing everything you're supposed to do the right way, or whether you're being Jonah and going the opposite way the Most High wants you to go, you're going to still learn how to have faith and trust in Him. And this is how we teach each other to stay strong, to stay potent, to tap into that stronghold,
and not forsake the Most High.
and to cleave unto Him. This is how you learn to cleave unto Him. What's the Most High teaching me? The first thing we have to know, regardless of what we're going through, is the Most High is trying to teach us to have faith in Him. And as a camp, this is our personal pit with no water. But we have to learn how to sit back here and have faith, look at things in a positive, pure light, and allow the Most High to pull us out of this situation and be there for that brother. While we stay strong and positive and keep our side of the deal going strong for that brother when he comes back. Matter of fact, keep going.
Even today do I declare that I will render double unto
What
thee.
he's saying is he's going to sit back and bless us for everything we lost. He's going to give it back to us. But we have to learn how to have faith. Whatever we're going through now, all the things we're dealing with, He's going to restore it and give us more. But we have to stay faithful.
This is the beauty of Christ.
No, hold on, open verse. But keep going down, man. What you gonna say?
And this is the beauty of Christ. From my experience, the beauty of Christ always comes in dark times.
Come.
This is when I get my stories.
This is the point. This is the renting. This is the renting.
Come.
And there's the sore pain.
Yeah.
And then the victory.
This is when you get your testimonies. Testimonies come when you're in a situation where you have no power.
And you choose to cleave the Most High.
No matter what.
Versus the flesh.
Come.
That's when you have your lesson. When you sit back here getting high, getting faded, the pressure was too much, I had to smoke some dank.
Come on.
You ain't get the lesson, huh?
I know what happened.
You do get a lesson. It's just the opposite lesson of what not to do.
Come.
Versus of what to do.
Come.
Read on. We're going to let that verse go and go to Lamentations 3 and 17.
Gotcha.
A little bit later. Lamentations 3, verse 17 through 31. If we get the time. Sheesh, man, the time was flying. Lamentations 3.
17 to 21, right? 31?
Lamentations 3, 17. And thou hast...
that going?
Blow in their nose.
I was like, what the cuss is going on, huh? I heard somebody was talking. Like, what are they saying? Huh? What did you tell me? Huh?
It's kind of cold in here.
Well, no, it is the same degree, sir, in here as outdoors, sir. It is 72 degrees outside. It is 72 degrees in here. We're quite okay, sir.
Not Sabbath cold.
No, it was Sabbath cold, and I didn't cut that damn. I didn't cut it down to be Sabbath cold in the 60s. I walked by, it was in the 60s. I'm like, I didn't do that.
Who's doing this?
I didn't do that Sabbath cold. I keep it at 71 at the lowest. 71 is the lowest I go. No doubt, no BS. Anyway, Lamentations chapter 3, verse 17.
And thou hast removed my soul far off from peace.
Yeah.
This is what happens when we're catching hell.
Con.
Most High, our soul is removed from peace. This is when the Most High is teaching us how to rely and cleave to Him.
And that peace is a part of your natural comfort, your natural routine.
And it's control. Because peace is peace of mind.
Con.
It's control. And when the Most High takes the control out in our lives.
As long as I have this situation, I'm going to be all right.
Con.
At worst comes to worst, if I have these comforts, this set of circumstances, I can weather any storm.
Or the thought pops in,
yeah.
What if this doesn't work out?
Yeah.
What if this situation doesn't work out the way I thought? What if this brother's situation doesn't get fixed? This is when all of a sudden psychologically we start losing it.
God.
And we lose our foundation to the Most High.
God.
What we're explaining today is how to stay stable, how to stay strong when your foundation is uprooted from you.
God.
And you're falling into that pit of despair, fear, the thought of loss, the thought of danger or issues. Yes,
These are
sir.
strong spirits.
Peace is also permission, and you can only get permission from asking. You got to ask, from the Most High.
Come. But listen, let's continue in Lamentations.
I forget prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
18.
So what happens is when you lose your peace, you lose your prosperity.
Yeah.
You lose your strength.
Mm-hmm.
You lose your comfort. Read on.
And I said, my strength and my hope is perished from the Lord.
This is what all of us face.
It's the things that you rely on in the truth. Sometimes it's spiritual things that keep you positive.
Yep.
And you might lose those spiritual things.
Come.
Like,
For a period of time.
I ain't gonna lie. I remember, you know what keep me grounded, bro? I knew no matter what happened out, I was gonna go to that mall out, I'm gonna be okay. It's gonna be another day out. Bad things happen, I still got work to do. I still can go to work and bury myself in my work with the people, right? Yep. I look up, I don't got a mall to go to. I'm like, they said the mall's closed, you're just unemployed now. I'm like, damn, I need a distraction to keep me from thinking about me all damn day. You get used to, after a while, you get used to not thinking about you and making it about you. So sometimes the Most High knows that you use brothers to stay grounded. He'll take that situation away, your natural routine away from you, so you have to start going into prayer. Everybody doesn't like to pray, bro. Everybody like to study. So if you don't want to study, cool, you got to study. If you don't want to pray, he gonna make you pray. You don't want to fast, he gonna make you go to that fasting. He gonna make you go to the next level of spirituality based on situations. And you can't do the same 1-2 step. All we gotta do is come see the brothers in the morning, have inspection, go to work, and we gonna be all right. Nah, bro, ain't no more now. Whoa, what you gonna do now? Shit, I'm gonna have to pray. When's the last time you prayed, dog? It's been a while, dog. You know what I'm saying? The Most High makes these things happen to make you step up your level of attention to the Father.
God. So listen, continue.
Verse 19. Remembering mine affliction and my misery, the wormwood and the gall.
Listen, meaning the bitterness of it. And this is what happens when you're in your head and your foundation is ripped from you.
Yeah.
You start focusing on all the losses, all the sadness, all the worst case scenarios. And this is a mindset that we have to fight our asses off to stay away from. When we sit back and see difficult situations, we see our brothers going through adversity. We can't get caught up into this mindset where I'm focusing on how bitter his circumstance could be, or how bitter my circumstance could be. We have to fight our butts off to stay away from those negative thoughts.
They keep the faith up.
Exactly, but read on.
Verse 20. My soul hath them still in remembrance, and is humbled in me.
Listen, what does he keep remembering? The bad. This is Jeremiah talking about the difficult times him and his nation was facing when Babylon took him over.
Oh, it was bad.
It was their entire nation was uprooted from them. Their entire homeland was uprooted from them.
You look at the relief side and the reports, they were being skinned alive out. Brothers were being filleted and skinned alive out. And they made sure that they advertised that to the whole world out.
Okay.
It was bad, bro. These are your brothers and sisters, your cousins, your families, people you care about getting destroyed out.
And whether it's talking about Babylon or talking about our personal lives, when we can't get past our adversities, get past our losses and our pain, what has to be done to overcome that? Read verse 21.
This I recall to my mind. Therefore, I have hope.
This is the mindset that you hold on to in order to keep hope. Because we're prisoners of hope, right? Now he's going to show you how to maintain that hope and how to lock yourself into hope. What it's showing you, if the Most High is demanding that we're prisoners of hope, that means we have to learn how to always be accustomed to staying into this spirit. And we can't ever allow ourselves to feed into the spirit of despair and sadness. This is why a lot of times people say, you guys are so callous and it's like nothing affects you. That's not true. Things do affect us. But we don't let that sentiment override us. You can't let your feelings and emotions consume you. You know good to your people and you know good to the Most High. We're supposed to be prisoners of hope, faith, versus prisoners of sentiment and feeling and emotion. That gets us nowhere as a nation. So if we're going to be prisoners of hope, this is, from verse 21 down to 31, is the template of how to be a prisoner of hope.
I remember that time period when my first experience with this spirit was when brother's Riv's mother got abducted. You remember when brother's Riv's mother got abducted? She was held for ransom.
Yeah.
She was held hostage. And I'm like, listen, I don't know what to say. This is. There ain't no way this can be fixed. The camp threw prayers up. I got a story 3 days later. 3 days later, I heard that there was an earthquake where she was being imprisoned and held hostage. The earthquake came.
You have a great memory, man.
You have to remember these times. When times get bad, you have to remember every detail because you're gonna go through this again. She lived off of rainwater.
The things written aforetime are written for our learning.
She lived off of rainwater. She drank rainwater, and then we were praying for her.
That's movie shit.
She drank rainwater to survive, and then the earthquake came out. Things, I guess, went down, and she used the earthquake in that situation to escape out, and she ran to safety out. And the person that imprisoned her died in the earthquake. That's what happened. But when it first happened,
that's movie shit.
Brother, when it first happened,
Scripture shit.
We're like
even better. Scripture shit.
She was a Levite.
That you could make it to a movie.
Yeah, she was a Levite. And this brother came in, bust his ass. His wife came in faithful, and all of a sudden their mother gets abducted. That looks like, wow, what kind of God do you serve, bro? Your God lets these things happen, bro.
Yeah.
That's the kind of vibe you get.
You gotta say bro too, man.
Yeah, it's like that spirit talks to you. Like, bro, this is what kind of God you believe.
This is
your God, bro.
Father.
I'm like, I don't know what to do. We're just gonna throw the prayers up.
Yep.
But that's the first time I saw that prayer was real.
God.
And so you have to hold on to these moments, take a picture of them in your mind, because you're gonna be back here again in different circumstances. You have to hold on. You have to have something to hold on to keep balance. That's what I'm saying.
Yep. Listen, let's go and read 21.
Yeah.
Lamentations chapter 3 verse 21. This I recall to my mind. Therefore have I hope.
So these are the things you have to recall and listen, he's showing you how to fight spirits. How to fight spirits of sadness. How to fight spirits of anger or resentment or emotions and anger that can control over you and take over you during difficult situations that we go through. You have to go through a set of stories and scenarios, reminders to recall these reminders that the Most High is real and is omnipresent in order to deal with what you're facing in front of you.
Yeah,
it's going to go into it. Okay. Let's keep going.
Verse 22. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed.
The Most High is in control of all of this, and as bad as what we saw, can you accept that that was mercy? It could have been worse. The scenario that we saw could have been worse. And can I remind myself, and can I keep putting this in my mind, that whatever bad I'm seeing, the Most High still showed mercy. And this is how you have to recall in your mind to sustain hope. That what we saw was still mercy. And what was intended for him on the left-hand side was to do worse. Now, if we can look at it that way, we can say, okay, then the Most High really looked out. You see how you have to change your frame of mind to sustain a positive outlook towards your circumstance and the Most High? The Most High gave us and that brother mercy. Read on.
Because his compassions fail not.
The Most High never stops or quits in his compassion. He's always compassionate. So whatever our circumstance is, the Most High gave us 1/10 of what he could have gave us. Can you accept that? Whatever shitty hand you think you got dealt, you could have got worse. You were supposed to get worse.
Always be worse.
But the Most High looked out. But the problem is our mind, we're so negative, we can't get past what we're losing, what we've lost, or what we're seeing that's bad in our life. But we don't realize, even though what we got is difficult, it could have been way worse than what it was. Hopefully that would keep you and us in a proper perspective and still be thankful and appreciative for what we have and what the Most High has done for us. Read on.
Verse 23. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness.
His compassions and his mercies are new every morning. The Most High says he daily loadeth us with what?
Benefits.
And can I sit back here and every day learn how to see that the Most High has done even that much more for me the next day? Man, the Most High, whatever happened today, the Most High is, you can start learning how to see the good in everything around you. The Most High is bringing mercies and compassion every day, and it's new. So our job is to look for the new compassion and the new set of mercy the Most High has laid out for us every single day.
It's a whole different type of thinking.
It's a whole. The perspective is completely different than our pessimistic, glass is half empty mindset. That's not how you can live in this spiritual realm. I have to sit back here and look for the mercies and how the Most High has been compassionate with me today and how it was new in comparison to yesterday's compassion and mercy.
I have to hold on to every small incremental inkling of hope and improvement and every little small blessing. I have to hold on to it.
This is how each and every one of us can learn how to change our outlook, our perspective, and our mindset. Let's continue in the verse.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
The new thing, he made a 6:30 phone call this morning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Hey, I was trying to shoot out the in a mass text, but the file was too big. He was back fluting playing that. I got it on the phone right now. But the problem is it was too big to go on the damn on the thread, bro. Already banging it out,
That's awesome.
It was like a 3-note joint, but it was still fire. He didn't lose nothing. And that was like another mercy and compassionate scenario. Every day it's better. Every day the circumstances has gotten better than it once was. But can we hold on to that mindset? Or we're going to be, oh man, I don't understand why. Why, oh Lord? Why? I don't understand. I don't be understanding what the Most High doing. It's unfair.
Yeah.
But we have that mindset.
Come.
Yes, sir.
On point of what you're saying, at 7:02, everybody got a message from that brother.
Yeah.
7:02, and then immediately after that, we got a response. Yeah, 7:02, there was a whole conversation.
Come.
So we went from no words, no communication. Now we have responses on the group thread.
Come. And this is how we have to learn. This crazy thing is, before you get the confirmation, can we keep that mindset?
That's the game.
Before we get the perfect combination, can we remain faithful? Can we remain strong and optimistic and help push each other to different levels of optimism and positivity? We're going through the verses explaining how we can be prisoners of hope right here in this chapter. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. Our faithfulness has to be great, or the Most High's faithfulness is great, and His mercies and His compassions spring up new every morning. Read verse 24.
The Lord is my portion. Save my soul. Therefore I will hope in Him.
Read on.
The Lord is good unto them that wait for Him.
The point is this. Regardless of the calamities that happen in our life, can you wait long enough with the right mindset to see that He came through once again? It's all about a waiting game.
That's the Most High.
Once you get punched in the mouth, or you have to face difficult adversity, do you have the spirit in you not to be in the mindset of despair? Don't forget what Job said. Can we get good and not get bad?
Evil, yeah.
And evil that comes to you also? And he said he didn't speak anything evil towards the Most High, right? But what does speaking evil mean? You just he that despiseth, despising not man with the Most High. Speaking evil is having a negative outlook towards your situation. So can you keep a positive outlook when you get punched and evil is sent to you? Evil is sent to your camp? Can you sit back here and still stay positive and maintain a pure outlook and wait so the Most High can show you that He's still there? We start losing our shit and don't give the Most High an opportunity to show us that there is a value in waiting for Him. We can't wait long enough to determine the fact that the Most High is real and He loves us. We fall apart at the first sign of calamity, the first start of difficulties. We start losing it. Can we give the Most High some time to show us that He's there? Can we give Him the benefit of the doubt? Can we learn to realize that every day He's showing us mercies and compassions, and every day it's new? Hold on. Keep going.
Verse 25. The Lord is good unto them that wait for Him, to the soul that seeketh Him.
Mm-hmm.
It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord.
It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait. But when it says to quietly wait, what does it mean by quietly waiting? Does it mean keeping a quiet mouth? Or does it mean to stop, don't murmur and dispute? Yes, I.
Philippians 2:14.
There we go. Pull it. No. Philippians 2:14 means do all things without disputings and murmurs.
Oh, okay.
You said it perfect, guy. Because that's what being quiet is, I. Can I wait and not complain? Can I wait and not get angry? That's how I show the Most High that I'm being good. Can I sit back here and wait and keep a pure outlook until the Most High shows me that, you know what, all I have to do is wait. Why are you tripping? Yes, I.
Ecclesiastes 29:3.
Just say it. Just say the words.
It says, "Keep thy word and deal faithfully with him, and thou shalt always find the thing that is necessary for thee."
Okay. Not bad. It was kind of buttery, kind of butter knifery, but it's okay. You've been hitting verses all day, so I'm not tripping. Like the ones you've been pulling have been perfect. I just didn't want to finish.
I wanted Hebrews 11:6.
You were good. You've been giving me good stuff. I just want to finish this because this the rest of this hits and then we go. Then we cycle back out.
I'm just kidding.
It's okay.
I know.
Read on.
Verse 27. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth.
Listen, you still have to bear that yoke. You have to bear your burden. Mm-hmm. All of us are going to get dropped in that pit with no water. All of us have to face that. And as we grow, we have to continually face odds like that. Scenarios where you're out of control and you have to wait. You have no buttons to push, nothing you can do. You're in a spot and you got to wait. We're just going through the situation now as a camp while we have to wait and trust. But while we're waiting and trusting, Does our work slow down? Does our effort slow down? Does what we give to the Most High slow down?
Sacrifice change.
Does our sacrifice diminish? The Most High is like, you have to do your job and quietly wait. Stop murmuring. Stop disputing. Stop slowing down what you do for me, the Most High, and maintain your effort while you're waiting. Maintain your potency while you're waiting for the Most High to come through. That's what he's looking for. That's how you become ready to get the lesson that he has for you. And you've been ready to receive the blessing he's got for you. But too many times, while we're waiting, we lose patience, we lose our damn mind, we lose our discipline, and we get negative. And we wonder why we don't get rewarded through the adversities. Because we're too busy pouting, murmuring, and sinning, and reacting to the loss versus learning how to wait through the loss, through the perceived loss. Because it ain't really a loss yet. It's a lesson. Read on.
Verse 28. He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him.
Meaning you sit back here and you wear your adversity. But you don't let that adversity define you. You deal with the adversity. You continue plowing forward. You continue being a brother. You continue being a sister. You continue being considerate. And your work doesn't diminish even though you're suffering. Even though you're afraid. Even though you're in pain. Even though there's a little doubt there. Even though you're unsure. The way you show the Most High that you believe in him is that your effort doesn't slow down or dissipate. That's how you stay in control with the Heavenly Father. Continue.
Verse 29. He putteth his mouth in the dust.
Yep.
If so be, there may be hope.
He puts his mouth in the dust. He doesn't complain. He doesn't backbite. He sits back here and figures a way to be at peace with his circumstance while not letting his circumstance define his actions in his day-to-day works. This is what it takes. This is what it means to be a prisoner of hope. This is the literal application of what it takes to hope. In order to hope, in order to have faith, your works can't diminish. Your outlook has to be pure, and you have to constantly see how the Most High is daily loading us with benefits and blessings and mercies and compassions. And can we sit back here and realize and learn how to practice seeing how the Most High is looking after us every day in a great light? This is the kind of chapter you should read over and over and over again till it sinks. Till it sinks. How to sit back here and see the good in circumstances when it feels like the whole sky is falling and the world is collapsing. Read on.
He giveth his cheek to him that smiteth him. He is filled full with reproach.
He says, so he allows whatever punches that the Spirit's going to give you, you let it ride. Because there's a blessing coming with it. And can I accept that? There's a blessing coming through all the blows that I'm going through. And all the things I'm losing. There's good right behind the corner. But can I wait? Can I patiently wait for it? Can I maintain my discipline until the Most High gives it to me? Read on.
For the Lord will not cast off forever.
I'm not going to be waiting forever. The blessing will come. But can I wait? Good things come to those who wait. Not to those who pout and get emotional, get angry, and get effeminate when they don't get what they want when they want it. The Most High has always been about teaching us patience and mercy and long suffering. Let that go and go to 2 Ezra 7 and verse 14 through 18. 2 Ezra 7 verse 14 through 18.
2 Ezra chapter 7 verse 14.
Yes, read that.
Alright, come. If then
To 18.
If then that If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain
He
things.
says, if then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, read on.
They can never receive those. They can never receive those that are laid up for them.
So what it's saying is, listen, bro, if we don't accept that we have to enter these straight, meaning these difficult circumstances, we have to accept when you serve the Most High, you have to prepare yourself for temptation, right? But also you have to accept that by serving the Most High, you have to deal with these straight, uncomfortable, narrow conditions. This is part of serving the Most High. Dealing with loss, suffering, having your foundation shaken up, being put in situations where you fear what's going to happen next. If you don't accept that this is part of your development, you'll never earn the right to get the kingdom on the other side. Israel is so soft in the mind. Whenever adversity hits us, we just collapse. Whenever the threat or the possibility that we can lose something or fall, we collapse. But everywhere in the Bible lets us know that you're going to have to be prepared to accept dealing with these straight, S-T-R-A-I-T scenarios. Uncomfortable, difficult, narrow passages in order to earn the kingdom.
Challenge.
You have to get challenged. Read on.
Now therefore, why disquietest thou thyself, seeing that thou art but a corruptible man?
Why are you getting all emotional because of what you're going through?
Losing peace.
You're losing your peace. You're losing your mental patience. Why are you doing this, being this corruptible man? Read on. You had a hand about?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Straight also, man, means strict or rigorous,
Con.
difficult or distressful.
He's telling you the path the Most High wants us to go on is distressful, is difficult, will be challenging. Read on, Yeshai.
And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal?
Read on.
Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come?
Why haven't we considered the fact that we have to face the fact that we might lose things? We might lose brothers. We will have to suffer. We're going to have to lose something. Everything we go through is not going to be easy, comfortable, and light if we're going to earn the everlasting kingdom. And this is why Ecclesiasticus 2 talked about preparing your mind, setting your heart aright. Read on.
Rather than that which is present.
Read on. What verse you at now?
I'm at, just finished verse 16.
Okay.
Verse 17. Then answered I and said, O Lord, that thou bearest rule, that thou hast ordained in thy law, that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish.
Listen, the righteous shall inherit the kingdom, but they still got to suffer straight things. And the wicked shall inherit destruction. Read on. This is the point of the verse. Read that.
Verse 18. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things, and hope for wise.
That's the point. The righteous shall suffer these difficult, rigorous things, and have to hope that we get the kingdom. And that's where Lamentations chapter 3 kicks in. We have to accept that spiritual life is going to be rigorous, difficult, and that in the process of living this difficult, rigorous life, we have to hope that the Most High is going to come through and bless us. We have to train our minds to look at things in the positive, even though everything around us is rigorous and straight. Can you learn how to look past the difficulties and still see the Most High? This is what the Most High is trying to teach us. This is about us reading the Bible enough to train our thinking. Can I see the good even though everything around me is straight, rigorous, difficult, and uncomfortable? If we prepare our mind for that approach, we'll be suited to get to the kingdom and finish. Cut. That's a perfect verse, Acts 14:22. Listen, without tribulation, listen, you can't get to the kingdom without much tribulation.
God.
There's no doubt about it. But that tribulation is that rigorous approach. But it's not just having tribulation. It's can I have tribulation and still have hope in the Most High, have faith in the Most High, and trust that every day the Most High is blessing me. Every day the Most High is, His mercies and His compassions are evident. And can I consistently see how the Most High has been merciful and compassionate on me every day, even in the midst of this strict, uncomfortable, vigorous, rigorous lifestyle. How many of y'all can say that? That during all the difficulties I do for the Most High, I've learned how to see how the Most High is constantly showing me compassion and mercy. That's how you have hope. Can you continue to train yourself in that light? If you don't, you're not going to last. Because this life is too difficult to just deal with tribulation after tribulation, loss after loss, and not teach yourself how to see the good and how to see all the mercies and compassions the Most High gives us daily. You have to have both. The ability to suffer and the ability to see good. That's how we endure all these difficulties for decades. This is how you endure suffering for decades. Can I see the good even though it's obvious difficult, obvious discomfort? And can you train your mind to be equipped to handle that?
If you don't study though. You don't study
If you don't study, you can't prepare your mindset.
God.
The studying goes hand in hand with the difficulties to teach you how to cope with the difficulties. It's right here in the scriptures, man. Read verse 18 again. 2 Ezra 7 and 18.
2 Ezra chapter 7 verse 18. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things, and hope for wide.
And hope for wide. Man, you're not guaranteed what you want. You're going to suffer, and you're going to have to learn how to wait till the Most High gives you good. Read on.
For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide.
And you know what this will have on the flip side? If you live the negative life, you're going to still suffer these straight things and won't get shit out of it.
Yep.
You're going to suffer straight things. You're going to suffer vigorous or rigorous issues, difficult, stressful situations in the world, living you or serving the Most High. But the difference is the ones who are giving themselves to the Most High are learning how to see the good in the battles that are presented right in front of them. But you have to teach yourself through the scriptures and through watching the examples of the men who do this every day. This is why you feed strength. This is why you hold on to the potency around all of us, so we can stay strong. This is what you look for amongst brothers. How does this person get up every day and can see the good in what's being done today? That's what you're feeding off of. Instead of just complaining, why don't you ask, how do you stay strong? How do you see the good in bad situations? How do you stay potent when everything around you looks like it's falling apart? Those are the questions that men ask when they're trying to grow. When men aren't trying to grow, they just got their laundry list of complaints. I'm mad about this. I'm pissed off about it. I really hate this. I really hate this. I really hate this. And I really hate that. If you're trying to grow, you sit back and talk about how to see the good in all these circumstances and accept it. Are you done in verse 18?
Yeah, that was it at verse 18.
Let that go and go to 1 Peter's 2 and verse 18 through 21.
First Peter chapter 2 verse 18.
Let me get this, bro. Let's go to the scriptures. On my phone. Sure. 1 Peter's 2 and verse 18. Let's do that, bro.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 18. Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward.
Now we understand this scripture is talking about following the people over you, the ones who are on point or not on point. Okay, like Christ said, do as they say, not as they do. Right?
Yeah.
Read on. But that's not the point I'm driving. Read on.
For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience
sake.
No, just conscious.
Conscious.
Yep. Read on.
For if a man for conscience towards the Most High endureth grief, suffering wrongfully.
I don't even want to focus on the suffering wrongfully. I just want to focus on when the Most High got you going through
During grief.
suffering and grief times. Can I, through conscience of the Most High, keep a pure outlook and obey and do what I'm supposed to do? If the Most High is telling you to do this for men, you don't think He's telling you to do it for Him? Can I sit back here and take a perceived slight or a perceived knock against what I'm trying to do and still see the good in it? Can I sit back here and endure hardness or difficulty and for conscience of the Most High still be at peace with what I'm going through? Because a lot of times if we get a blow in our life for something that's difficult for us to handle, or we lose something, all of a sudden our conscience towards the work I do, my conscience towards the Most High starts to diminish.
Everything changes.
Everything starts to change. But for conscience of the Most High, I'm supposed to lock in and do the right thing regardless if I'm winning, I'm gaining, or I'm losing. Read on.
Verse 20. For what glory is it if when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently?
Mm-hmm.
But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with the Most High.
So the Most High is saying, you're supposed to be doing things the right way. This verse connects with 2nd Esdras, because 2nd Esdras said what? The people that are living righteously are going to suffer straight things and hope for the why. The people who are living wicked are going to suffer straight things and inherit destruction. So what do we say? If I'm doing the right thing and I'm suffering difficult things, I still have to, in conscience of the Most High, look at Him in a pure, positive light. And there's no glory in, if I'm getting stung for doing wrong, that I show repentance. The glory is in, I'm doing the right thing, we're doing the right thing, and the camp is still suffering a challenge. The glory is how can we maintain a pure outlook towards the Most High when we're giving everything we got and we still get a blow? Can we still, in conscience of the Most High, still be at peace with it? This is what the Most High is putting us through now. When you're giving everything you got and we still handle adversity, that's where the glory kicks in. The glory kicks in when we learn how to be at peace with the circumstances, even though we're doing everything we can and we're trying to max ourselves out. Read on in that verse.
That was all, 21.
Now, yeah, I'm 121, sir.
Verse 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Yahushua also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps.
And we should follow Christ's example. We're going to let that verse go and go to Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 7. Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 7, verse 1 through 3. And we're going to bounce a little bit.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1 reads, a good name is better than precious ointment.
No doubt about it. Sitting back here and living your life, and living a life where you can sit back and say that you were blameless, and you dedicated your life to serving the Most High with no scandal and no stain on your honor. That's much better than all the precious ointment in the world. Read on.
In the day of death than the day of one's birth.
Why? Because the day of death represents the totality of your journey. And it's better, what the Most High is showing you is that it's better. The Most High is more focused on how you finish than how you start. That's where it says a man's death is better than his birth. It's better to finish right than to start strong and fade out, like most Israel does. Israel will start fervent and potent and potent, fizz out. So the Most High wants to see how a man finishes to determine what caliber of person he is. Read on.
It is better to go to the house of mourning.
This is the challenge. Can we as Israelites be comfortable with part of our job description is to be comfortable dealing in the house of mourning? Our people want to sit back here, when we're around tears and sadness, we want to fucking lose our mind, and collapse. I just can't handle funerals. I can't handle difficult times. You're in the wrong goddamn line of business. If you can't handle being around mourning and sadness, what do you think dealing with the nation of Israel is? This is why all these Israelites that I see that they love cutting people and cutting and checking and cutting the white man online and wagging the fingers and all that stuff. What they don't realize is what this is about is, can I sit back here, function in the house of mourning, and keep people up? Where it says it's better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, what does that mean? Does it mean you're supposed to go to the house of mourning and crying and bawling out with the people who are crying and bawling out? Nah. It's better to be in the house of mourning and be in the strength to the people who need you to be strong than you just losing your damn mind and collapsing and folding under the pressure. Can you be accustomed to dealing with the pressure and the sadness of others and not let their sadness imprint on you? We just had the class last week about what? Being effeminate.
Being impressed.
And allowing being tender-headed. Having all these different surroundings affect you.
Easily manipulated.
But we're manipulated or just affected. Yeah. My surroundings is changing how I think and how I process things. We still have to have the ability to absorb the sadness, absorb mourning, absorb difficult times, and still pull scriptures. Still be faithful. Still be positive. Still be able to see that the Most High is there during the time of mourning. But instead of looking for the party, well, you know what Israel wants to do? When there's stressful times, I need a drink. When there's stressful times, I need some woman. When it's stressful, I need to sit back and sleep. Or do drugs or smoke. I got to do something to take away the damn pain. So if you're accustomed to running from the pain, then you're not cut out to be in the house of mourning. Because what teaching is about is dealing with mourning. When you got to deal with counsel every damn day, you know what you hear it all damn day? It's sad love songs. And what I mean by sad love songs, you hear it everybody's sob story. 24/7. Don't you think that's mourning? That's what counsel is. It's the house of mourning. This is my problems. My life sucks. My life sucks. My life sucks. My life really, really sucks. That's what the house of mourning is. And can you be accustomed to listening to everybody talk about how their life sucks? And then sit back here and get them to see that their life really doesn't suck. That they're sinning, and if they change their life won't suck. In order to do that, you have to be strong in your spiritual convictions. Can you train yourself through studying and counseling and being in the right environments to sit back and see the good when there's bad? To see the spiritual solution when it doesn't feel like there's a spiritual solution anywhere to be found. This is what teaching is. This is what leadership is. I love the fact that brothers are taking tests and ranking up. That is the shit. But what real ranking up is is, can I sit back here and maintain my spiritual integrity when everybody wants to give up on their spiritual integrity? Can I be strong? Can you be strong? And not let the sicknesses of others affect you to make you want to not give and make you not want to be considerate. He said it's better to be in the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. Because if I'm in the house of mournings, I can help people. You're supposed to be in this truth to want to help people, right? And if you want to help people, it starts with teaching them who they are. But once you teach who they are, now you got to deal with the real shit. And the real shit is to deal with their insanity every day and deal with the mourning that comes with dealing with people. Can I deal with everyone's sadness? And am I going to let their sadness change me?
Determine my life.
And take chinks out of my armor?
Yeah, my face.
Because that's what the hell happens. For those of y'all who just start counseling at a new level, have y'all not experienced that? When you try to counsel somebody and beat over somebody, their negative kind of imprints on you. And you start being all jacked up in the head off of a conversation where you were trying to help this brother or sis out. It happens all the time. Especially the new people trying to sit back here and take this position of counseling. This is what the Most High is trying to get us to teach us how to cleave to these scriptures. Cleave to this word. So we don't get shaken by anything. The appearance that things can be falling apart. Somebody has to keep it together. Are you willing to take on that mindset to go to the house of mourning? Because to go to the house of mourning, I have to take on these problems as they're mine. Give them the spiritual solution and then let it go. Take on the next problem as it's mine. Give them the spiritual solution and let it go. And then manage all of these issues on a daily basis. And not run from the responsibility that it takes to handle this weight. That's what people run from. The responsibility. The pressure. The constant, ever-facing need that's right in front of your face every day. But that's what it takes to lead your people. Go to the house of mourning and not just be the goddamn chicken man or the barbecue guys. There is a place to barbecue. I'm not knocking feast days. But the bread and butter of a camp, the bread and butter of a school, is embracing being in the house of mourning and not the house of comfort. Read on.
Come. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men.
The end of all men is that pursuit of comfort and that desire to run from the responsibility.
Yep.
Run from the hard times. Who's going to sit back here and deal with somebody grieving or deal with somebody in crisis to assure them the Most High is going to be there? When everything inside you feels crunchy as shit.
And give them some hope.
Can you give a person hope?
You provide them hope.
When you feel crunchy inside. When you don't feel confident inside. When there's the spirit of despair all around you. Can you provide hope and light in darkness? This is why you study, and this is what you're preparing yourselves to handle. Read on.
Come. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart.
Read on.
Sorrow is better than laughter.
Sorrow is better than laughter. Can you condition and train your mind to deal with that? Can you start training your mind to look for where the sorrow is so you can inspire and uplift? Then to look for the break, look for the fun, look for the out, look for the escape. Because that's what Israel wants to do. They make their escape at home. They make their escape their family. They make their escape alcohol. Everything but the hard shit. And that's when you can tell where a person's real heart is. Where are they at when times are jacked up? Where are they at when everything is perceivably collapsing? That's where you know where a person's heart is really sincere at. Read it from the top, verse 3.
Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better.
By the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. That means I'm supposed to be around the sad countenances, the people who are full of despair. Because you know what you got to do? That gives us purpose.
Yep.
Now, if I see sadness, can I sit back here and commit myself to this person to nurse him to strength, to nurse him to health, to nurse him or her to potency? Because if you think giving a couple nice words here and there one day is enough, you're sadly mistaken. Rehabilitation takes weeks, months, and years spiritually. Can you get off your ass and commit to a person every day, good, bad, or indifferent, until he or she is back on their feet spiritually? This is what the Most High is saying. Sorrow is better than laughter. Can I sit back here and condition my mind to look for those who sorrow and need? And then be strong for them. Commit myself to them. And then when they're healthy, can I look for the next person who is full of sorrow?
You're not getting a break, are you?
There's never a damn break. The break is in the peace of mind that somebody got helped. And then let me go to the next person. And then the next person. And then the next person. You know what? There's always work in Israel to deal with the sick. There's sorrow everywhere. You know what Israel wants to do? Israel wants to wear fringes and look for the laughs. Israel wants to wear fringes, look like they're spiritual, and have fun, and look for the connections, and look for things that benefit them, versus getting in the goddamn muck and the mire and the filth, and get scummy with people, and get into the filth of Israel. Because that's true rehabilitation. It's to look for the sorrow and not the laughter. It's not about necessarily looking for the bonds. Can I look for the sicknesses in Israel? And can I thrust myself into the situation to help fix a person brick by brick, day by day, good days, bad days, shitty days, and can I get back the next day and give again?
Without hating.
Not despising the job.
Without hating your own people.
And despising the job. And despising what you were called to do.
Down your call.
This is the magnitude of what we do for Israel. What we're supposed to do if you're doing your job right. Read on.
For by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better.
The spirit, listen, you're supposed to be strengthening spirits. So I gotta find the sad countenances. I gotta find the broken spirits. Because they are the ones who need it the most. And can I commit myself to them? Because by me committing myself to the sorrowful countenances, guess what you're giving up? Your life. And can you forfeit your life so that the numerous sad countenances can get fed? Or are we going to just sit back and position ourselves like we got information and answers, but not want to get our hands dirty? Let that verse go and go to 2 Timothy 2 and 3. Somebody else give me 2 Ezra 14 and 13.
2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3. Thou, therefore, endure hardness.
What do you think the hardness is? The hardness is what it takes to sit back here and be a servant and a vessel to serve and please the Heavenly Father. And can you endure the hardness? Can you endure the ups and the downs and that straight path the Most High said we had to follow? Read on.
As a good soldier of Yahushua.
Khan. Is that all that?
Khan, that was 3.
Let that verse go and go to 2 Ezra 14. If that was done, 2 Ezra 14 verse 13 through 15. And then somebody else give me 2 Timothy 2 verse 11 and 12. So you come out and give me that verse, Amiyati.
2 Ezra chapter,
Yeah, you're good. I want you on that one and he'll go back to that one after that.
2 Ezra chapter 14 verse 13.
Well, give me a second so the brother can type this in. 2 Ezra chapter 14 verse 13 through 15. Read that.
2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 13. Now therefore set thine house in order.
Set your house in order and set your camp in order. But in order for you to sit back here and set your camp in order, you have to sit back here and embrace doing what?
Dirty jobs.
Dirty jobs, another way to say that is going to the sick.
God.
Going to the house of mourning. Can we practice and condition ourselves to deal with the house of mourning? What we're experiencing lately, this is another day of dealing with the difficulties of loving our people. The challenges of loving our people. Read on.
Set thine house in order and reprove thy people.
We know about the correction and the cutting. Read on.
Comfort such of them as be in trouble.
This is the part of it. Comfort them that's going through troubles. But a lot of times, who wants to be that comforting spirit when there's a bunch of tears around you? When there's a bunch of down, broken countenances around you? This is part of the job. Going to the house of mourning. Yes, you got to cut, and yes, you got to heal. And yes, you have to take on the responsibility of being strong when nobody wants to be strong. This is what the serving the Most High is about. Can you step it up? Can you rise to the occasion and love and be strong for your people when they need it? When they need it most. Because most of the time, when they need it most is when you want to relax. And can you be strong when you want to take a break and recharge, so to speak? Get your head together. For those of y'all who are used to counseling, you don't even start counseling till you're ready to go to sleep and tune out. Then your phone call rings. Your phone rings and it blows up. Because the Most High is trying to condition you at a young age spiritually what this is about. Comforting such of them as be in trouble. And this is what the Most High is putting us through now. Can we comfort the families that's going through this hell and be strong for them? And show strength. And be consistently upbeat for that brother and his family. Read on.
And now renounce corruption. Let go from thee mortal thoughts.
When your people need you to be strong and they need you to comfort them, you got to let go of these thoughts that lead to your spiritual death. You can't be in your head when your people need you. You can't be all gushy and emotional and effeminate when your brothers need you to be strong.
For them.
For them. It ain't about you. It ain't about what you feel. It ain't about how you feel.
It's not your time, bro.
The only thing that matters is that the people around you get rehabilitated and strengthened and comforted. That's all that matters. You don't mean shit in those times. And can we get past ourselves and our feelings so the body can stay strong? This is what this verse is saying. Read on.
Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature.
Put off the weak nature so you can be strong for your people who need you to comfort them. And this is what serving Christ is about. Can I, throughout the rest of my life, as I breathe air and eat and do all the things I do, can I learn to consistently put myself last so that the body can get what they need? Can I consistently put myself on the back burner so that the ones who really need get priority? Or do I want to keep prioritizing myself and giving to everybody else as I see fit?
My feelings matter.
That's what determines a poor shepherd from a good shepherd. The good shepherd risks his life for the flock. But what does that do? That means you risk your life for the flock by making your life a ransom. And like we said, ransom is you're forfeiting your life so that others can be sustained. Read on.
Verse 15. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee.
Exactly. So we can't get caught up in our feelings with our brother going through what he's going through. We can't get caught in our feelings. we have to be able to see that the Most High is constantly shown that he's there for him. And every day he's been showing mercy and blessings to him and all of us. And can I feed and hold on to that side versus holding on to the sentimental side that we all wrestle with? Read on.
And haste thee to flee from these times.
But you want to haste to get through the times, but you have to wait until the Most High pulls us out of it. We still have to wait. Let that go and go to 2 Timothy 2 verse 11 through 12.
2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 11.
2 Timothy, make sure the brother types it up. 2 Timothy chapter 2. 2 Timothy 2 verse 11 through 12.
Know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
It is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him.
If we be dead with him, we'll live with him. Meaning we're dead to this world, we'll live with him. Read on.
If we suffer, we shall also reign with him.
If we embrace the suffering that comes from putting the service of the body first, if we're willing to suffer and make sure that others are comforted above us, because this is the contrary thing. If I'm making sure everybody else is comforted, then that means I'm suffering. And can I accept that I come last so that the body gets what they need? And if we're willing to accept that trade-off and suffer, then read verse 12 again.
If we suffer, we shall also reign with him.
If we suffer, we will reign with him in the kingdom. So us getting to the kingdom is based upon how much we're willing to forfeit what we got going on to make sure that the sick are comforted. Let that verse go and go to Ecclesiastes 7 and 4 in the Bible. I don't want to make it too much longer, bro. I think we got the point. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 4 and Ecclesiastes 1 and 18.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 4.
Got a couple more. He's going to a couple more.
The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning.
The mind of the wise. What is wisdom? It's the correct application of knowledge.
Yeah.
So the person who's actually applying this Bible, the person who's living this book, he's constantly in the house of the mourning. Because when you're around the house of the mourning, the house of people that are going through things, you better apply this damn book. You got to come up with answers. Read on.
It says,
verse 4, middle.
But the heart of fools is in the house of mirth.
But the mind of a fool is always looking for fun.
God.
He's always looking for an escape. He's always looking for a break. When the heart of the mindset, the heart of the wise, is looking to deal in the difficult circumstances.
Ecclesiastes 1:18.
But I want to repeat that verse again, verse 4 again.
Verse 4, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning.
The heart of the wise is always in the house of mourning, God. Can we get used to this? The Most High is going to get this brother through this. But this is one of many challenges we're going to continue to face. Can we embrace the lifestyle that comes with being an Israelite? Being there for the sick. Embracing being in the house of the mourning. Read on.
It says, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth.
Now we're going to read Ecclesiastes 1 and 18 in the Bible. And it really gives more clarification to what this verse means. Based off what we're talking about today. Ecclesiastes 1 and 18.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 18 read.
Yep.
For in much wisdom is much grief.
Hell yeah. Because the wise man's supposed to be in the house of damn mourning. You know, the wise man has to apply, he has to live what he's talking.
God.
A lot of Israel got a bunch of breakdowns, but all they got is knowledge. Because when it comes to living it themselves or dispersing it out and leading from the front, they can't do it. That means you have a knowledge of the information, but you don't know how to actually execute it. But if you're going to be executing this word and living this word, then you got the only way to live it, to get the understanding, is to be in the house of mourning. And when you're in the house of mourning, you're going to be there with a lot of grief. Just like the verse said. Read it from the top again.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 18 reads, "For in much wisdom is much grief."
Because if you're applying the wisdom, you're using it in the right places. You're using this wisdom to go to the sick. You're using this wisdom to deal in the house of mourning.
That's the price you have to pay for doing what's right, bro.
Well, listen, that's the price that it takes to get wisdom.
Yeah.
Because one time, people want to use wisdom so they can shine and blow up and look good on camera.
That's not enough, though.
But that's not what it's here. You don't get the wisdom to look good on camera like you doing something. You get the wisdom so you can be a greater servant, like Christ said. The greatest amongst you has to be the greatest servant. That's why you get the wisdom. And when you become the greatest servant, or you become a servant, now your life is about grief because you're coming last. And you're going to deal with grief because you're always in the house of mourning and sickness. Read on.
Come. And he that increaseth knowledge, increaseth sorrow.
That's the point. Because the more I learn, the more I am responsible to disperse it to people who are in need.
And the less you can have.
And it's less you.
The more you learn, the less you have.
And the more you learn, the more you got to sit back and go and deal with the sick. And deal with the mourning people. And deal with Israel that's suffering.
That needs.
And can I accept that my life is going in the house of mourning? Yes, I.
On the point of grief and being Christ-like, Isaiah 53 and 3.
That was where I was going next.
Oh.
Isaiah 53 and 1 down to 5. I was going there next. You hit it right. Isaiah 53, verse 1 through 5.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 1.
Okay, I'm out there. Okay.
Let's see what's going on.
Touche, my brother. Touche. No, I'm messing with you. Isaiah 53, verse 1 through 5. That was literally where we was going next.
Isaiah chapter 53.
Because the scripture in Ecclesiastes 1 and 18 says the more knowledge you get, the more wisdom you get, the more grief and sorrow you get, right?
Yeah.
Read on.
Who has believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed?
So who's going to believe the report of what our Lord and Savior Christ had to go through to justify him being anointed as being the Savior? Who will believe what the expectation Christ had, the Most High had on Christ's only Son? Read on.
Verse 2. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground.
Huh?
He hath no
But what that means is this. He says, for he shall grow up before him as a tender plant and as a root out of dry ground. A tender plant growing out of dry ground, that means that plant had a very difficult time rising to the surface. It's very hard for a plant to rise through dry, decrepit ground.
Not getting a lot, not getting fed.
Not a lot of nutrients.
Yeah.
But the plant still grew up tender and healthy, even though the conditions weren't good.
Verse, yeah.
That's why I said, can anything good come out of Bethlehem? That place must have been bad. Can anything good come from this place? Because the environment was full of people that came out negative and sick. So Christ came out of a bad living condition. Read on.
He had no form nor comeliness.
He wasn't this handsome, beautiful looking cat. There's some depictions of Christ where he had deformities and he didn't look 100%. Read on.
And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
So it was looks and his form was off. It wasn't just looks. He wasn't handsome, and his body, he says, he had no form or comeliness. He wasn't put together well. You read about Ehud last week. He was a strong body, built for work. This dude was handsome, had himself together. He said Christ was like, nah, this guy had no form of comeliness. Some accounts say Christ had like a humpback. I'm not lying.
Yeah.
That's what some accounts have said. I haven't read it. I can't prove it, but that's what was said. What I can prove is his body form wasn't like everybody else's.
When you look at
the scriptures.
When you look at the pictures in the catacombs in Rome, the early pictures of Christ, there's a depiction of him with a humpback. So
that's what I'm saying.
That's
where it came from.
It came from that depiction in the catacombs of Rome.
He wasn't this perfect, put together guy. So that's not the point I'm driving. Verse 3 is the point I'm driving. Read on.
Verse 3. He is despised and rejected of men.
He is despised and rejected of men. Read on.
A man of sorrows and acquainted with grief.
Christ was acquainted, very comfortable with grief.
He understood it.
You know why? Because he was always around it. He was acquainted with grief because he suffered, and he was always around the sick. He was always around the people who needed it. He was always around people crying and weeping and dejected and broken and lost and needy. But can we get used to that life? Can we get used to being around the mournful and the broken
or being
and the sad countenances and people just constantly taking from you and taking from you and taking from you? And can you be at peace with this? In order to be at peace with this, you have to be at peace with your Creator. You need to be at peace with your purpose. But we're just bringing out the fact that Christ was acquainted with grief. Wise men have to be acquainted with sorrows and grief. And it's our responsibility to be in the house of mourning over the house of glee and fun and feasting.
Because the servant's not above his master.
Exactly. And we're supposed to follow, like the next verse I was going to pull was in 1 Corinthians 11 where it says, like Paul said, be ye followers of me as I am of Christ. Wow. We're supposed to follow Christ's example. Hell, even in the Peter verse we read talks about that. But finish your verse.
And we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteem him not.
Read on.
Surely he hath borne our griefs.
Listen, this is what we have to do for our brothers. Bear our people's griefs. We have to bear their responsibilities. Because you really can't help a person unless you put yourself in their shoes.
Exactly.
That's how you're bearing their sorrows and griefs. I can't properly counsel you unless I put myself in your circumstance and then with my understanding in scriptures, walk you
navigate.
I have to navigate myself out of your crazy situation and teach you the path that I had to do to get out of your circumstance. So I have to inject myself into your sorrows to help you. Which means I have to have a clear mental and spiritual palate where I can't be having my life going on that dominates me. I have to have a clear mind to give you what you need. But he's acquainted with sorrows and grief. Read on.
Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of the Most High, and afflicted.
Like he had a sucky life. Because all this dude is doing is suffering. Because you know what? That's what you're supposed to do. If you're acquainted with Christ, if you're following Christ's path and his example, then you'll be living in the house of mourning way more than the house of feasting yourself. You'll embrace the difficult challenges of counseling and rehabilitation like Christ did.
And I can't attach myself to weakness when it rears its head.
Because
weakness is going to reveal itself. I hate to say it. Listen, we try our best to make it a perfect situation, bro. And try to make it a utopia. There's no utopias here, bro.
Israel's going to be sick, and can we deal with the sickness every day? Go back the next day and go back at the sickness. The next day comes, go back at the sickness. And as long as brothers and sisters are here, we're going to go at sickness. And we're never going to give up on you. But can we accept that this life is about embracing mourning and grief? Read verse 5.
Verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities.
Everything that we lose is for the benefit of the body. Everything that we're inconvenienced for is so that the body can be rich and sustained and taken care of. Read on.
The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
The more we lose, the more the body benefits. Let that verse go. And let's just quickly go to
that's why he looked the way he looked, because he took our punishment.
Well, this was in his youth.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like he was when it was going on with him. He bore our iniquity.
Oh, no doubt about it. Listen, yeah. I'm not saying he didn't have to bear the iniquities, but I was just talking about as far as the looks.
Right.
People would esteem the anointed Savior as his pretty boy.
Right.
As this person who has it all together, and he was completely the opposite. Who would have thought that the anointed was this below average looking cat with all these issues?
Yeah,
on top of all the suffering and everything he had to endure for our people. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was bringing out.
Because people want this valiant savior concept out.
Well, yeah, they want a perfect situation, but that's not how it is.
So he actually have a handicap or what?
He wasn't like everybody else. And that I don't want to make it any deeper than that. I just want he didn't have the form of everybody else to keep it safe.
Off his looks.
Exactly. It was all wisdom, baby, and spiritual execution.
I mean, but a humpback is a deformity.
That's why I didn't put a definite to it. I said his form wasn't like everybody else's.
I was planning on saying that in class.
I brought it out. That's why I said that's why I was hesitant to say it.
Yeah.
But I just came out, bro. But
don't
quote me, boy, because I ain't sitting out there. Don't quote it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't quote it. His form wasn't like the form of everybody else, and leave it at that.
Right.
Okay. So First Peter's chapter 2 and 21. Somebody read it. 1 Peter 2 and 21.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. It says, "For even here too were ye called, because Yahushua also suffered for us."
So this is what you were called for.
You were called to sit back and go to that supper.
We were called to see our people in their condition. I remember when Katrina came down, bro. When Katrina happened, and we opened our doors, we met a lot of new spirits out. We met a lot of new brothers out. A lot of brothers came in the spirit of mourning, bro. They just lost everything, bro. Brothers lost their house, their possessions, their belongings, and now they need some stability. Who's gonna be stability for someone who lost everything after the flood? That's the perfect place to go. It's called a sanctuary, right? What's a sanctuary? It's a place of peace. And if we're all temples of the Most High, and the Most High dwells in us, we're supposed to be temples of peace also for people that have lost everything in the world. We're required to be temples also.
You got that? Okay, so listen. 2 more verses. Well, maybe 3. But Galatians 6 and 2. Galatians 6 and 2. Somebody give me Isaiah 53 and 12.
Galatians chapter 6, verse 2. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
"Bear ye one another's burdens."
And this is what this truth is about. This is what bearing each other's burdens is being comfortable in that house of mourning. Can I be comfortable in these difficult circumstances and give our mind and be at peace in these stressful times, knowing the Most High is going to continue to provide solutions and answers through all these difficult situations. Let that go. Are you done with that?
"Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Yahushua."
Exactly. It lines up right with 1 Peter 2 and 21. Everything we're saying in Isaiah 53, Ecclesiastes 1 and 18, Ecclesiastes 7. It's all talking about accepting and being in that house of mourning. And if you can accept that you're going to be acquainted with grief like Isaiah 53 says, go to Isaiah 53 and 12. If we can accept that our life is about bearing one another's burdens, and we have to be accustomed to deal with these type of situations, these crisis type situations. The Most High is saying, can you get comfortable operating in crisis states?
53 and what?
12.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 12.
And if you can get accustomed in operating in these crisis states, and be willing to run towards these circumstances and give people what they need, then what comes to you? Read that.
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 12.
So because of everything Christ went through, because Isaiah 53 talks about all the grief he went through, all the sorrow he endured, what happens? What was Christ's reward for enduring all the grief? Read that.
Isaiah 53, verse 12. "Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great."
The great men of Israel deal with the house of mourning. The ones who don't want to be the greatest in Christ's eyes run from adversity. Run from responsibility. Run from the challenge of having to be strong for the weak. Read on.
"And he shall divide the spoil with the strong."
With the other people like Christ that had dedicated their life to dealing with the sick and dealing in the house of mourning. Read on.
"Because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors."
He sat back here, and when everything was said and done, he was truly in line with the sick. Read on.
"And he bare the sin of many, and made
intercession
Salakia, for the transgressors.
Let that go and go back to Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Ecclesiastes 7, verse 8 through 10, and we'll probably shut down after that. We got more, but it doesn't make sense. I think we've gotten the point. Ecclesiastes 7, verse 8.
8 to 10, right?
Yep. Somebody get that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 10. Say not thou, what is...
No, 7, 8.
7, 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof.
We read this earlier. And we read it actually in verse 1. The Most High was trying to make sure that the end is better than the beginning. The Most High wants to see, can we sustain our discipline and our outlook through these times of mourning? Can we navigate Israel through the difficulties until they can see the light? It's better. That's how he measures the caliber of men we are. Can we keep Israel stable and strong from beginning to end? From one crisis to another. Read on.
And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit.
Come on, read on.
Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry.
You can't, because you know what the problem is? In the midst of you waiting for the Most High to send the blessing, in the midst of you waiting for the Most High to come through and reveal his plans and intentions and to get the why, men get angry because they don't know why.
Yeah.
Men get emotional because they don't have the answer yet. So instead of being faithful and patient, they want to get angry and emotional like an animal. I'm angry. I don't understand.
I'm upset.
We're like animals, because we just can't wait.
Come.
We have to learn how to wait with discipline. It said in the Lamentations, put your mouth in the dirt.
Come.
Can I put my mouth in the dirt and stop beating myself like I'm damn Tarzan up?
Can I be at a lower state?
I'm so angry. I'm angry. Because I don't understand my circumstance. Read on.
For anger resteth in the bosom of fools.
Exactly, but it's telling you that anger comes while the person is waiting to get the understanding.
Yep.
Read on.
Say not thou, what is the cause that the former days were better than these?
And Israel can't get caught up into reminiscing.
Yep.
Because in the midst of you going through hell, you want to reminisce. Why has it got to be this way? Everything was cool a week ago.
It was better days.
No, it was much better days. Why is it all this? Why is everything collapsing now? That mindset gets you broken and weak. You can't play with the looking back spirit, the reminiscing spirit, or what we're going through now is unfair spirit. That breaks a man. He says, say not now what?
Say not thou, what is the cause that the former days were better than these?
Why is today so much harder than it was a year ago or 6 months ago? That's that person that starts to panic out and stress during adversity. The scripture says, if thy faint in adversity, thy strength is small. When we're in the middle of adversity, we can't be looking back. But a man shows weakness when he's looking back in the past. That's why Luke 9:62 says, he that puts his hand to the plow and looketh back is no longer fit for the kingdom. When I'm sitting back here focused on what I've lost, what I'm going through, why it's so much harder now than in the past, I've weakened myself and I don't allow myself, I don't allow the Most High to help push me through strength. You have to stay in the present, in the now, in the book, with the brothers around you to endure these difficult times. You got something to pull down here?
I gotta find it, bro. It says sorrow brings strength.
This would be a great time to pull it. I'm about to shut this shit down. I got some verses, but it's like 10:40, bro.
I got one more scripture, but this app sucks. I got memories.
Sucky app up. Listen, we're gonna let it go then. We're gonna let it go. It's okay.
This is scripture, though.
Hey, listen, we don't have it.
Yeah, no.
Listen, I think we got the overall point. Do we have the overall point? Is there any questions about what we're going over today? About during this difficult time, we have to come together and be strong for each other and embrace the mourning. Embrace the next spiritual challenge. Yeah, the verse I was mentioning was Luke 9:62. That went alongside with this verse in Ecclesiastes 7 and 10. That was a verse I was going to pull, but I just kind of talked it instead of pulling it. Are there any other questions? Listen, Tawada for tuning in, Israel. We probably, I don't know about, we have a real busy week this week coming up. We might not have class, but I'll confirm. Tawada for tuning in. Love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Shalom.